There was a water accident on other.
Yeah.
That week before we talked about it.
Okay, call to order at
9:39.
9:39. Okay, so we've got an agenda in front of us. Any changes or are we gonna, there is a few things that are missing, but I think they'll come in either Melissa's report or our report, so we can bring it up then. Unless you have something you want to put on there.
Well, did you want, well, it's in Melissa's report, the boat launch update and Jack's Pond update.
Boat launch and Jack's Pond. Do we want to have them as separate items?
If you can address them in your CAO.
I can.
Okay.
Okay.
Then that's-
And also any update on the drainage stuff?
Yeah.
The flooding drainage?
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna address them then, okay? Okay, then,
As presented then?
as presented. Yep.
Who wants to make the motion?
All in favor? Gotcha. Okay, minutes on the previous. Council meeting? Any changes, corrections?
One correction.
Ooh. Hopefully it's the same one.
No, it's just minor. It had to do with my,
Report.
meeting report, yeah. And it was the egg going back to the lake, no, not the lake, the river.
Oh, okay. So change it from lake to or river.
That's
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Anything, so motion to accept as amended? From Winona, all in favor? Okay, so we're gonna get back up to.
page numbers, that's why you have to do it.
Yeah. Okay, no public hearings, no
We
allegations.
accepting the minutes as ended.
One made it and we did the motion.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, public meetings, no delegation. Donation acceptance and receipt, I think it's supposed to be receipt.
Receiving.
policy.
Receiving or receipt?
Receiving.
Or E, except after.
Receiving policy.
But it's supposed to be a.
I think it's supposed to be receiving.
Receiving is correct.
Oh, yeah. Oh, to give them a receipt for the policy, gotcha. Okay, so,
For the receipt.
yes,
So as is summarized, I did review your town settlers, and so then came up with something that fits more for us.
yep, and I looked at that, I only had one thing, and that was in the, I think you asked that if they know ahead of time, they should let you know, but most donations are almost after the fact, aren't they? When they're offered.
Where in the policy?
Where did I see that?
Encourages donors to contact administration before purchasing or providing the items.
Yeah, I don't know if that's always the case, I guess we encourage them.
We encourage them.
Okay, so I don't.
It's not saying they're locked in, it's saying we encourage them to contact us first prior to doing this. Because then we want to make sure we're assessing it correctly based on CRA.
Yeah.
Instead of just coming in and saying, I want a receipt, and we haven't had time to review it to the CRA.
So, the Buffalo Head would have been a case of that, where we didn't get a prior, but then because we didn't accept it, we didn't need to go through all of that.
Yeah.
But in that case, that's how we would handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in general, I know from experience, on a number of different boards, if the value is over $1,000, they want some sort of qualified opinion.
Okay,
And under $1,000 generally.
so opinion from the,
From a professional, someone who does that.
Appraising and that kind of
Appraising.
yeah.
Appraising or is in the industry. So for example, we donated quilts to the Heritage House for covering the funeral coffins. And they're massive, right? So we got Harriet Hudson to appraise them
okay,
because that was her business.
so when it's a material gift, then if it's a cash gift, that one's simple.
Cash is simple.
Yes.
Okay, any other discussion on that?
So the only other thing that I know on that, Melissa, and I think you covered it in there, you said volunteer services and labor. So when, for example, at the hospital, when we had a contractor come in, he did a bill for a certain amount for actual physical things that he
Yeah.
bought. And then he did another bill for contracted labor and services. We could not provide him with a donation receipt because that was his ordinary business.
Correct.
So you even so I'm wondering about contracted services, if it should be.
Unfortunately, we'd have to review everything through the CRA because their regulations are tight.
Yep.
And so they
No, I mean,
No,
like
yeah.
just add contracted volunteer or contracted services.
What
Yeah.
section is that?
it should be under.
Not eligible for receiving, top of page, page one.
Page 11 or 12.
Yeah, top of 12.
Top of 12,
It should be.
Volunteer labor or services, including,
contracted.
that's the only thing that I had in there.
Including contract.
One.
So you can't claim labor, you can claim materials.
Correct.
If you donated the material,
That should be, that's like the flowers. That's like the flowers. We paid for the flowers.
is I'm not a gardener or a greenhouse.
Yeah.
If the contractor who did the landscaping, that's his ordinary course of business, so there is a difference there.
Yeah.
Again, it would be something that you would check to see.
And we're following the CRA.
Oh,
So
in-
yeah, donation not eligible on the CRA
Yeah.
covers it.
Oh,
Yes.
and we said including contracted services, or is it how do you word it?
Including contractors.
Contractor, okay.
Right behind the word term. Okay,
So maybe then, just to clarify, interrupting.
We should just put volunteer labor or contracted services, and then we jump down to the last bullet, or
Okay.
any donation not eligible under CRA. So it allows us the time to review.
Yeah, keep all your other points.
yeah,
Your other
yeah,
points are
everything else is fine.
Okay.
Okay, motion to accept as amended,
Yes.
Who wants to do
Oh,
that? Okay.
all in favor? Okay. Materials depot operations, so this is the contract for the fall starting October 1st.
Yep,
And this is that, so I did see that they are requesting that we have insurance.
Yeah.
Did we not normally have insurance?
guess what? No,
Not on that particular, okay,
actually.
and they're paying for the insurance though.
Well, here's the good news. The bad news was, we should have actually had the transfer site with some kind of insurance. We haven't. And so now we're getting the insurance and they're paying for it.
Okay. So,
So it's a benefit, plus, on top of that benefit, we are being paid for our labor services to maintain the site.
Yeah, $300 a month.
Which means now it's a benefit for us because we actually are collecting revenue instead of always having stuff.
And we don't pay for the disposal, the hauling, all of that, so there's about $200 or $300 a tip that we used to pay, we no longer will be paying.
That's correct.
So now you'll have
And it's, I thought it was gonna be 2 bins, is it still only 1 now?
I'm still working on, we know it's an 8, somehow it's gotta be an 8 cube bin.
Yep.
Of some sort, how it's set up, I don't know for sure, because I've never done this one before.
Okay.
But we've already figured out how to make it all work. We've talked with the waste delivery guy and said he'd help us move bins. We're gonna have to remove the gates to prep the site. So we can fit it into the same area.
So it'll be inside the gate now.
We're gonna remove the front gates and it's gonna be right in the side. We'll have the 6 bins,
6 garbage.
Yeah.
6 garbage, you know, looking at it. And then
Will be,
the last portion will be the recycle.
And that will not have a gauge on it.
I'm gonna have to remove the gates
The
to
whole
make it easier, and then that helps us with maintenance.
We
too.
haven't had any problems with
No.
anyone with the gates
No.
there, so.
I kind of like it, because people see what you're doing.
We can watch for the steps, some people.
And with the cameras, we can monitor it too, so this will help us with being able to work with them with the making sure that contamination is limited or how we're gonna educate more and stuff like that, so.
So, an 8 cube bin,
That's a 6.
as a 6 for the cardboard.
So the 8, the only thing with the 8 is, and they should know this, it's gotta be low enough.
Mhm.
That if you do need to put something over top. And the ones that they're using in Erskine and all of that, they're 8. But I would request that there's 2.
And
Going from 1 for cardboard
Which is
to
cool all
1
the
for
time.
everything, the same one, but a little bigger, 2 yards bigger, it's not gonna be enough. So I would, can we? still-
there's tons of ways that we can manipulate this, it's just we have to sign the contract so we can move this forward and get everything implemented.
But can we ask the contract be 2 bins? instead of-
If it require, I think they're gonna want, let's put it to you this way, if they can fit more bins in, they probably would if it's needed. Because it means the less times they gotta come out,
Yeah, for sure.
which is a cost saving on everybody's side, so we're gonna work with them. But let's get it implemented. And we're collecting, gaining revenue, not expense now.
So how often is the cardboard bin emptied?
Once a week,
In the summer, it's not quite once a week in the summer, I
It's
think.
about every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
so
And how often are they going to empty?
it's all gonna depend on the use, right?
So we call them when it's full?
No.
No, they're.
No.
They're gonna monitor everything, so that would be great.
It doesn't say it in here, but I believe they'll start with the weekly tip.
Yeah.
My only concern is, and Stetler, the Stetler one has had some challenges with it, is the bins are full and they don't tip them often enough, so then they run into problems. And then they tell people to put cardboard in the burn pit, which is pissing me off. So that's why I was saying, let's get as many as we can to start with, and that's 2. We don't need more than 2.
Yeah,
But 2
So
to
if we
start
can-
with, if we can, push them on into that. And then it'll be a matter of, tipping them once a week. And then if they're not full, if they keep tipping empty, then we'll change.
Yeah.
But I would suggest that our system, we could do it 2 bins once a week in the summer and maybe pull that into the winter going every 2 weeks or something.
Some
And
of
then
those bins can be
we're
moved over.
figuring- We're trying to make sure that we work with them to get as much as we can to fit, but still allow that the tipping, everything like that will still be accessible for everybody, so.
But the contract says 1. That's why I'm
Yeah.
working on this. Can we not get that?
We can amend anything as long as we start, this is all new, so they don't even know,
Yeah.
so.
But that would be my only comment is let's change that to 2 bins. And then the rest of it's great, I think. I mean, it's great that we get paid. It's great that they take their responsibility for tipping and all of that's taken away.
What I'm hearing Melissa saying is that the contract says 1, but if the usage is there,
Correct.
it's second. You're
Correct.
saying,
I
you
don't
can
know.
go with 2, but then what happens if the bins are half empty every time they come? I mean, I would rather them come every week or 2 and empty 1 bin than have 2 bins and then they sit there for weeks and weeks.
And because
I
we're,
guess as long as we're clear on we have an agreement that if the usage is there and maybe we can ask them if they're willing to at the start for a trial period to make sure we don't have bad experiences with things overflowing, if they'd be willing to put it
Yeah.
to, even though the contract doesn't say they can't do 2, the contract says there'll be 1 or more.
and then this contract is a shorter term contract so that we can assess where we're moving.
This is 1 year.
I think it's because we're starting part way, usually would have been at 3, but I think ours is only like 14 months, 15 months.
Okay.
But everybody else has already been, we're on the second.
Like what you're saying is it increase as opposed to decrease is probably easier.
And then we have to assess the site, right?
The cardboard is always full.
It's-
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
I
So.
talked to her about the city because of that.
If I start putting newspaper and
All of that.
all of this other stuff in there, it's gonna be overflowing
Yeah.
every week. It's going to be
Well,
overflowing.
I would ask that administration ask if we can change it to 2 now. If not, then keep it the same and we'll have to ask them within, like, it does give us the opportunity to adjust it.
Yes,
And we can say we want it more often and hopefully
And-
they will respond, I guess.
and because we're starting in the fall, we're starting where we don't have the busy season,
Yeah.
so we can assess
It
things.
might be slower, yeah.
It's just like with the organic skin, I think, after we get through the September long weekend, we should assess whether 2 bins out here in the beginning might be beneficial.
Yeah.
But we are not done yet.
It's not an organic spin, we gotta stop referring to it as that. It is.
Branch bin,
Branch bin.
yeah.
Because we don't want people putting organics
Yeah.
in it. Right?
Yeah.
But yes, okay, so what do we want to do?
There's a recommended thingy.
So that we can get this done.
Okay, I just have 2 quick questions first. So we mentioned the insurance, are we
Yep.
talking just basic liability insurance or something for themselves or?
No, that liability insurance would fall under our property stuff. For if somebody slipped and fell. This is environmental.
Environmental impairment liability insurance.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's contamination, stuff like that.
If somebody throws something that's not supposed to be in there, like,
Like the motor oil,
motor oil, and it drips out and it gets onto the ground and it contaminates the ground, and the groundwater, like every site that I have has to have it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
and
would
we
that,
should have had it.
so would that same insurance apply for the garbage bins?
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
And they pay for it, which is.
That's great. So this may be a question more for Dan. I'm just trying to understand the business model. So, they're doing this at their cost. They're paying, they're covering our insurance and upkeep costs for it. How is their business model on it to make it up, to make it?
They don't. So what the government have done in Canada, and Alberta's the last, I believe, or one of the last.
Yeah.
The government has basically said, listen, industry, manufacturers, you're creating all of this packaging and all of this plastic, and you're benefiting from it. You're packaging and in some cases over packaging these products. And the municipalities are paying for it, the end of life to try to recycle this stuff. They're now saying this is your responsibility. You produce this stuff. You have to pay for it. So the Walmarts of the world, the Costco's, even the small manufacturers, all Amazon, they all have to pay now for this program, and they have to pay for the end of life. So the idea is that not only do they take the responsibility off the small and the municipalities and such, they also will hopefully redesign their packaging so there's more efficient and more recyclable packaging.
So there's some sort of assessment of how much to charge each manufacturer.
Yep.
That then goes into a fund.
Yep.
That's then paying for. all
So,
these-
the way that it is pulled it out is Walmart and all of these, the little grocery store in the corner, all of these aren't gonna negotiate with the province to pay for it. So they get these, they're called PROs, Producer Responsibility Organizations. Real Materials is one such that's doing the majority across Canada. And what they do is they say, we will collect a fee, we're a non-for-profit, we will operate, we will collect enough fees from all of you guys to pay for the recycling of all this material.
Okay.
And then the government's involvement is to say, you have to take care of your end of life packaging. Plus, we want to see a higher level of recycling or reuse or whatever, less garbage each year. So they're saying now it might be 30% have to be recycled. Well, in 10 years, it'll be 50%. And in 20 years, it might be 70%. So the idea is to change behavior long term. That's called EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility.
It's very interesting, it's very similar to like with the tier program as for oil and gas, permission for that. We're gonna,
Correct.
the assessment, based on.
On how much we produce.
Like that back around.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
Federal government is gonna get a benefit, because all those landfills cost millions of dollars to build, to redo and.
Well, in actuality, the province, it was the municipality that were carrying the burden and load of landfill sites because the insurance and liability that maintained whether you closed that site went on for 25 years.
closure responsible. Post-closure.
And leaching and all that stuff. So there was a lot on the municipalities where now it's starting to make push more to the producers and to try and reduce the cost that the municipalities have been burdened with.
It is similar to the refund program that Alberta's had for 30 years, and that is, that program, we think we pay 5 cents and we get 5 cents, but there's some administration stuff on top of that. That is paid by the Coca-Colas, the Pepsis, the, the Colts, and all of that, those, and the beer, all of that, all of that is paid by those into this organization that then administers the refund program.
Okay.
So there is cost, again, they're responsible, and that's made them super efficient. They now recycle, 80% plus sort of thing. So that's where the models are coming from, is they're saying, you're making this stuff, all this packaging, you now need to be responsible for. That's where it's coming from, and, I wish we would have been even a year earlier, because then we would have been on screen, but most of the smaller communities did not adopt this until, and basically, I think that if we wouldn't have gone on board, now why wouldn't we, I don't know, but if we wouldn't have gone on board, it would have been mandatory. Like the province is making these communities participate in this.
Yeah.
And as we are part of the phase 2, there are some municipalities who haven't done even the registering for phase 2, so they're losing out on what we're gaining.
They're losing out, and eventually the province will, Circular Materials will step in and set up depots themselves. So they'll have to, they want to ensure that all Canadians, I guess, for that level of different provinces, have this access to this.
I can't find the term of contract for some reason. I've gone through it and I can't see it. But that's okay.
But we'll just have to make sure there is some documentation required, I think, is it on our part or on theirs?
They're doing everything, they're gonna provide us everything, so there's really nothing on us, like all the
insurance I just saw.
Proof of insurance, and we will maintain the site.
Yes,
In other words, we will clean up. We'll have to clean up around there, and that's on us and our, and.
they're gonna provide all the signage, all the education material, we'll work with them, everything they,
Circulars to residents, so.
yep. They'll be communicating to us if they find there's any contamination, and we'll talk about new education way to go about to educate better and.
What happens if there's is there any penalties for stuff that's not supposed to be in there?
No, I talked to them directly too. I've got email correspondence and they said no, they would rather work with the municipality on more education or other things. And then as we go through the next version of the contract, then we'll assess what the data we collected.
It does cover the majority of what residents would be recycling, but it won't cover, like if somebody throws a paint can in there, that's a different program. It is a program, but it's not under this one. So that would be considered contamination. And I know with some contracts, I've seen these, that they will, there'll be a penalty clause if you have too much contamination. I didn't see one in here.
No, it said, I confirm that contamination targets established under the program are managed through education, monitoring, and corrective action planning. So that's what we'll be working on.
I don't think we'll have that problem, not with the smaller communities.
Yeah.
They're usually not a problem.
Yeah.
And it's the more of those. Okay, so we are looking for approval.
Council approves the circular materials master service agreement, statement of work, yep. And then turn to the contract, so I can get everything done.
Okay,
We want to do it with confirmation of the term
To.
or
do we have a term?
Term and 2 bids.
Yeah.
I think we should just acknowledge we want to get this contract, get the insurance, because if I don't have this contract signed, the insurance doesn't get done. I've got
We
everything
can approve it with you reviewing the,
and make any amendments as we proceed moving forward. Because I think we should see how the first couple of months go and then review where we need to add another bin and if there's any site changes we need to do. 'Cause I have to make sure that all. It's just because the site, maybe we have to expand it, I don't know.
Or we're the one garbage bin, because the garbage is gonna be redirected into
Yeah.
this particular.
Yeah.
So I think amending it or actually signing the agreement, but also sending a letter requesting an immediate amendment for 2 days.
Okay,
oh, here's the period.
Okay.
It's on page 21, halfway down. It says, from the commencement date, which earlier specifies October 1st to December 31st of 2027. So it's a year and a half, or yes.
that's what I said.
3 months.
Right, okay. So that's the term, so the term is in there. I would strongly encourage well, I guess like Paul said, we could go, because it's going into the winter months, but we have enough.
We could ask them to give us more assessment on the data that they've collected so far prior to the summer season, so we can talk to them about adjusting it.
Okay, I wanna, from our perspective, I think we need to keep our own data then about, it's overfilled, it's overfilled, it's overfilled. If that's a problem, I wanna make sure that we're aware of it and we're communicating that on a regular basis. If it's not being overfilled, then great, let's keep it rocking and rolling, but if it becomes an overfill situation, we can't.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah,
Is that
do
fair?
that, because we can monitor, we see from here, as we can see.
Yeah.
So we'll monitor and keep an eye on it.
Yeah, and there is ways to work with them on it.
So are we asking for, because Emiliano said, and amend the agreement immediately to have 2 bins? Are we still asking that or in the motion, or are we?
No.
I think we should just authorize.
We're authorizing them to enter into a contract but we will monitor it.
And we will monitor.
And it does have the ability to add in the contract.
Yes.
Who wants to put their name, on it?
All in favor? Okay, we're going down.
Before you leave, we have to sign it.
Okay, well, I've got some signatures here too, so we throw it in the file.
This one's electronic, isn't it? With anyways,
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out.
Okay, moving down to. Sorry.
Regional transportation.
Regional transportation, so this was, our response to the letter that we
Yeah.
sent.
The letter that we sent is attached in behind, and this is the response we got.
So basically, they're saying we're not turning it into a secondary road, but there is, some funds available to the county and whoever works with them to.
Let's just put it into a clear term.
Okay.
STIP had been pulled back many years ago. And now all of a sudden I see it's back. Funding's different depending on the scenario, so it could be 50-50. They made it very clear that how it used to be was back in the 60s to the 80s. So this is their way of saying we should work together with the county.
And it's just to be negotiated at this point.
But normally this grant, depending on which program we go, because I guess now they've broken it into a different scenario program. Could be 50-50, it might not be 80-20, I don't know.
So just throwing it on the county's plate doesn't wash with me. I think that we need to work with the county, absolutely. But it would be interesting to find out, maybe they are already getting STIP funding. And if they are, then
With my meeting on Thursday, they were quite interested in this because this has kind of come to their attention now.
Okay, anyway, all good. If it does, if it gets to funding, then I would like to see that negotiation directly be reflected in the monies that we pay them, right? Secondly, I would also like to request that at the ASBA conference, I'm not sure if ministers come or not, that we request a in-person meeting with David Drisham.
Normally, this would happen more at AU,
Larger and everything.
Alpha, I'm not sure, I don't think we had any ministers last time.
Not last year, they were.
They have
I guess they- but-
in the past, though.
Even if we send a letter to the minister requesting a short meeting during the ASBA.
Like
We
sending
can go to him or they can, yeah, whatever, but I would like to request a face-to-face meeting with them at the ASBA.
See how this is a two motion thing.
Well, and I don't particularly like the recommendation because I don't think it's our administration talking to their administration. I think there needs to be more of a politician talking to politician, if you will, or elected. So I think that whether one or if there's a, do we have a transportation person? Maybe we don't have a committee.
No, it's our municipal committee, which is you and I.
Yeah. So I think we should have that as a face-to-face with administration. But I think we need to have a face-to-face as opposed to trying to do this all through emails and stuff. I think we need to talk to the county.
And that is kind of what I'm not saying this is administration would do it. This motion is that we forward the correspondence to the county because they haven't got it. We initiate discussions with the county of Stettler, so I think we should schedule
No.
intermunicipal.
It's the one that.
ICF.
Regional. We schedule a regional. So that you guys can sit down as the elected officials and review this letter and see what steps you want to take.
Okay.
And
Can
if
you
we
put more
provide,
background on the STIP as far as, I think so let's do this in the.
well, the STIP, I looked it up. So in your package, it says the STIP is an Alberta government grant program, provides cost sharing funding for municipal transportation infrastructure projects that improve mobility, public safety, economic development, and regional connectivity. The minister identified the initiative LMI, Local Municipal Initiatives, funding stream as the component that may be applicable for future regional transportation projects. Roadway construction, rehabilitation, structural paving, base improvements, intersection improvements, transportation infrastructure that improves local or regional connectivity. So the LMI stream is what they've identified to us. Does not utilize a fixed provincial municipal cost sharing formula. Funding applications are evaluated competitively based on provincial priorities. So
it's how well you write the letter or write the proposal. And it's not necessarily us, it's the county road. So, but the county would have to work with us and we would have to be a joint.
correct, because probably with the LMI stream, if you collaborate, it probably would give better
Well,
value.
regional. Yeah, you score higher points.
Correct.
So what we want to do is ask the county if they would jointly do a joint submission with us for this funding.
And I think if we follow the 4 points that or the 3 points for sure, we'll set up the meeting with the county as part of our ICF.
Yeah.
And then if they support it, then we proceed to try to get a meeting for transportation.
So this isn't taking money away from existing.
No.
So this is new funds that they could get to improve that road for our better access.
And we can work with them, but we need to open the conversation now based on what we received.
Yes. Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
And I still think Leona's suggestion to still have a follow-up Thank you for the information. You know, and maybe put out there that, you know, we are attending it, like try to link it to the summer villages. Say, you know, during that time, can we have you, a meeting with you or one of your senior representatives or something to that effect? See, still trying to get a face to face.
Because I think you can, because we will get invites for the AUMA, how we can work this, or the RMA now. No, RMA.
RMA is county.
Alberta Communities,
We probably want the RMA.
which,
It's regional.
working with the county, we should figure out when because they also have opportunities too, right, at the RMAs.
Yeah.
So we can get the meeting. I think it's gotta be on the same page.
I think when his letter, yes, I agree, he said this was the sixties to the eighties, he's just telling you that the urban access road program was a different program.
Yeah.
You just specify, okay, this is where you need to go to. So with that, the STIP and the LMI funding, eligible projects may include structural paving. So I mean, it's not just, okay, get a STIP grant to look after that road. There may be eligible projects that we could jointly apply for with the county.
Correct.
So that's why I think it's so important that we actually have that meeting with the Minister of Transportation.
So we like the first one, the second one, the third one for the motion, and then we want to add in, send a letter to the Honorable Devin Dreeshen to thank him for the letter and request a meeting with him.
Well, he almost corrected us already.
Yeah.
The only thing I disagree with is number 3 is that if supported by the county. I don't want to be if supported.
No, engage.
I want to engage with the Alberta Transportation.
It's 3 and 4.
No.
Change it, get rid of the first 5 words.
Yes, supported, so it's engaged,
Yeah.
right?
And
Want for?
the engagement would be, you know, seeking, a meeting with either the minister or senior officials to discuss this further.
Want me, okay.
Both. I am.
Yeah.
And that's the.
Well, the LMI is the portion of the STIP.
Okay.
Well, we have to be well versed in it, but we would still like to meet.
So Melissa, can you also please forward that STIP funding document to Dan and I?
Yeah, I can pull it.
I'm on a call too.
I'll pull grants.
Okay, I'm trying to
Did you
get
get
the,
that?
I'm trying to get the Grecian part, how do you want to contact him? And-
I would say, you know, make that number 4.
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah.
And just say, respond back to their letter requesting for a meeting with the minister or senior to discuss further. Because I do think we need to say this is important. And ASVA would be the ideal for us.
But
We might, if we have to go to RMA, then we go to RMA and it'll cost us.
or any domain.
It's one, AUMA usually gets dominated by the big board, so
Yes.
I find that one kind of frustrating to get.
Alberta Munis always, we get the invite sent out right away.
You get, like, you get overwhelmed by the big boys,
Yeah.
it's their playground. Whereas RMA is smaller and it's meant to be towns and villages and rural.
Yeah.
And that would be, doesn't always attract the big, ministers and the premiums and all of that. But it's still, I think it's more appropriate for ours if we can.
Yeah.
So and you can even throw that in there in your letter saying, you know, at this meeting or that meeting, this conference or that conference.
Alberta Munis, so I want ASMA or Alberta Munis?
So here you've got, so you're receiving correspondence.
Yes. We're initiating discussion with the county,
Yeah.
we're engaging.
And directing administration to forward the correspondence to the county of Stettler
Mhm.
and initiate
That's all good.
a meeting.
No,
No, that's
number
the
4.
county, we're doing
New
number
number
4. So we're
Okay,
saying
so
respond
just
back.
leave it as is with those
Yeah,
words.
so- This is what has it, number 4, respond back to the Honorable Devin Dreeshen requesting a meeting with him or his senior staff member to discuss programs And then we're at,
Perhaps at NFCA or RNA. What's the original one, the original one called? RNA, yeah.
Yeah.
or
RNA, if convenient, like, those might be good ones to meet that. Depending on-
Yeah. So I think we gotta go through the first steps because we should engage the county first.
All of those stay the same ones.
Good.
so one,
And the last one is report back.
1 of 5, when we go.
Now we're gonna do 1, 2, and 3 before I send the letter to Minister Dreesen. I say no.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
send
yeah.
the letter to Minister Dreesen,
As soon as possible, yeah.
to the meeting,
Yeah.
and hopefully we have the county there with us.
If convenient part,
No,
No,
no, at the I'm sorry, I'm on number 4. We're gonna do all these 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever, all at the same time. But I say the programs perhaps at ASMA or RMA conferences if convenient. No. Okay,
Or at another time,
or
No.
another time. Okay.
or another.
I don't think you wanted to stop at those two, because you'll just say, well, I'm not going to either.
Time or venue.
Yeah.
Something like that. We're not giving up on
Yeah.
having a meeting.
Because if you had stated those two, then he could say, nope.
Yeah. We don't want that.
Alrighty, so I have 1, 2, 3, and I'll read 4, respond, and then, so 3, we took the
Yeah.
first 5 letters, is just engage with Alberta Transportations,
right.
And 4 is respond back to Honorable Devin Dreesen requesting a meeting with him or his senior staff member to discuss the programs at perhaps ASMA or RMA or at another time or venue.
About senior staff member, because he will decide if he's gonna send a senior staff.
I might say,
Okay.
I can't make it, but I'll send Bob.
Okay, it's just with him then.
He's already directed us to the contact right now.
Okay. That's okay.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
Okay.
All in favor? Okay, now we're down to.
Page 73.
BLIDT stuff.
Remember, Dan, you have bookmarks in that,
I knew I just went there.
oh, good job.
Okay, coming up the way that.
That's okay, it works.
Okay, so this is the supporting of the Road Town Sands Provincial Park boat launch. And I think that's well written. I quite liked it. I thought.
Yep, this was what you guys requested at the BLIDT, so we've attached it because everybody else has already gone through this and we're the last.
Somewhere in some of these articles, that basically said that it's not already supported and sent on its way, so.
Okay, well, let's make sure we do. So do you have a copy?
My only question is, will it affect funding for other boat launches in the area? If the province sinks this amount of money into the provincial park, are they gonna say, sorry guys, you guys are on your own for any of the grant funding? Was that discussed?
It was a little bit, but it was more, there's not much any of us can do. Let's at least get one working.
Yeah.
But this was through the provincial park route.
Yes.
As opposed to the route that would be for supporting other boat launches in general. Boat launches would, I believe, would be a different department almost.
It will be under our,
Municipal affairs.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would. I don't know how you would even, I don't know how you get that.
Most of the boat launches.
I'm in favor of it.
Yeah.
Because you're right, if you have one working boat launch,
Least-
that prevents everybody from launching their boat wherever they can find,
Correct.
which is happening now.
Yes.
So, yes, I am in favor of it, but I was wondering about that discussion.
It's just because those are actual park ones, and I think that's what cameras went through but they've now got it fixed, and I think it's been assumed by them now.
Which one?
The one over at Pelican Point.
I know they're still having problems with people.
Yeah. And then also as part of the BLIDT committee initiatives, the quality testing was completed and thought it was impacted, but there's a separate attachment here.
Okay, yeah.
let's make, do we want to deal with this?
The letter first.
Let's deal with this letter. I think I'm okay with it as is. To improve at least that goal on path. It doesn't say that, it still identifies the other thing.
Yeah, I think you're just approving the letter, right?
Okay. Okay, well, I'll make the motion to approve that letter.
Okay.
And get that signed and sent off. And then, do we want to, as part of this, or is this gonna come up later?
This is all included in here, because this is all the BLDP, so everything else you'll accept
So,
is
so we haven't look at, what is it basically telling us? Have you had a chance to? Positive result,
But, yeah,
that's saying positive yielded largely positive results, notable E. coli, scenic sands, buffalo sands. And it didn't really say much else.
basically, the overall report concluded that the water quality was generally within accepted recreational guidelines.
Okay.
Elevated E. coli levels were identified at 2 locations, at Scenic Sands and Buffalo Sands. However, both remained below Health Canada's recreational water quality threshold. The report concluded that the lake is generally safe for recreational use, while noting that drinking untreated lake water remains unsafe and recommending further investigation of localized elevated readings through microbiome, whatever, tracking if future monitoring warrants. But although there were 2 areas that had a little, we still are below the requirement.
Like below.
So that is a good result.
Good results.
Yeah.
A couple of things that they're recommending follow up on. So who follows up on that? My question, like, you know, does somebody do repeat sampling in particular?
Yes, the county has already,
They're committed, they did the initial, and they have continued, they committed to continuing to work with other environment to monitor this.
County or stuff.
yes, otherwise we would have been doing it and there's costs involved to get all the samples done.
That's good.
Okay, well, we'll.
Steve, is that
I guess as an add-on to that, then we will receive this as information.
Right, are you doing that?
If we have any further discussion on it, we can bring this back up.
So here's the one question I've got. So, you know, this testing was done all around the lake. So why is county standard doing this kind of on their own? They're getting information, but why isn't like,
It was presented, but we all said we'd work together if they needed us to, so.
They were doing it previously and they can just form one, and we will continue to do it on behalf of all of you.
okay,
And I'm sharing this information. I don't think they were sharing it with us before.
No,
No.
I've never
Now
done
they're
anything before.
sharing it with us. So this isn't really new. This is them saying, we've been doing this. We're gonna continue to do it. And now as part of your group, we'll share it with you.
that's great.
And the reason we kind of wanted to do this is because we did run into, was it over at Roshan Sands that they had that out of the blue.
Spike.
Health Services said there was an E. coli thing, so we
Oh, for
decided
the
that we
main
wanted to be on top of, because we never know when legislation changes will affect us. So now we've got that.
No, I think it's good information to keep sharing on our website. So
Yeah.
There's information that's
Yeah.
available.
I think we can summarize it and say it's good quality.
Hey.
Okay, but it's being continued to be monitored. Okay, that one's done. We need
You
a
know,
motion.
we need to make a motion or to pass that motion for that.
Yeah, I said we received the results of water samples from the
We know
counties.
the other one.
We did the other one.
We did the other one
Oh, did we do the other one?
Yeah. We did the other. So this one is just,
as information.
I'll make a motion to receive this as information, results of the water samples.
Done.
All in favor? Okay, sign.
Who moved the letter?
And did.
I did.
Okay, I missed that.
All right.
Do you want to repeat the motion?
No, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure that it was.
Okay, so this is the community event sign that we put an RFP out for and didn't get any response. Well, sorry, we didn't get any
Concrete.
concrete responses.
Yeah,
We did get, a proposal
we had a proposal that.
that was good on time and material,
Yes.
correct?
Well, prior, this was on the radar before. We did receive a proposal from, what's Chad CGM? Controls.
had that one from last year.
And
I think you're thinking of the other guy, Scott.
and then Scott
Yeah.
provided us for materials, but he didn't,
Wasn't clear.
yeah,
Okay.
There's no price, there's no,
No,
yeah,
Basically,
yeah.
I think he said time and materials
Yeah.
and up to a certain budget.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
here's what I'll just throw it out there. I have had a brief discussion with him and he believes that it's not that complicated to set up the sign. I showed him the pictures of Rochelle there, and this is what we're looking at. I also had a separate member of the community that has said that they would like to spearhead the sign project. And, and do some further investigation, find out what did Roshan use and how, and, and then work with, even to the point of, and then provide that information for approval, by council. So she's not gonna take it on herself, but, she still would work with us. And then she is more than happy to work with a time and materials guy up to a certain budget. And she suggests that that might be a way to go. And I think, we do have a budget. We could, approve to, meet with this person, assign a delegate, if you will, and just to move this forward.
Mhm.
And this is 2 signs, not 1.
Yeah.
So this is $6,000 is the budget for 2 signs at 2 different locations. And somebody that would run with it. Now, I don't know if that,
whoever wants to project manage something like this, you just state who you want to delegate it to, what your budget is, and
Come back with the.
come back with the revised proposal.
well, I like the project management idea.
I do too, rather than putting another RFP out.
Yeah,
The
it's not gonna
RFP didn't work.
Yeah.
Um,
Too small.
yeah,
Most people aren't gonna.
so I like the idea of the project manager, and then that project manager can go and talk with the interested parties, come back to council with a recommendation and the budget, and we approve it or not.
Yep.
Then it takes it off your plate too.
I'm fine with that, you just give me who's gonna be your project manager.
And I did confirm it with her, last night, that Tara Dawson.
Dawson
Tara Dawson.
as a.
To work with,
To be, I think,
Department.
to be the project manager to work with interested parties.
come up with a design proposal to submit to council for approval with budget.
So I have to find it in for-
Yeah.
For who?
for 2
And it was really a fast track.
Or
So
two
that-
I'm okay, cause.
The budget of
She does too, but
$6,000, wasn't it?
Yeah,
If I got this. Moved by, I'm gonna say Dan. To appoint Tamara Dawson as project manager to work with interested parties to come up with a design and construction proposal for
with finalized budget.
Go let her finish.
2 signs with a budget of $6,000 is what I did.
to event sign. I want
Yeah,
it
they are,
for
but
a second.
The maximum budget is 6,000.
Yes,
Thank you.
I like that.
The max.
Are we okay with that?
And we did, and we moved it, so.
Yeah, all in favor, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Now we're on to the next one that we didn't get a lot of response.
One.
We got one, come on.
People that asked but
Yeah.
never sent anything in.
And they didn't come out and visit the site.
Or
Trevor
didn't-
visited the site, Vermac, all the different, people came
That
out.
he had, yeah, that
Suffolk
he,
Came out and visited the site, so.
So,
Discussion.
Yep.
Okay.
Um,
Cause it's over your, you
Yeah.
said
over the
25.
motion.
Yep.
So when I look at his, proposal, I'm just gonna go down to his proposal, rather than everything else.
The sink thing would be removed,
He was talking about epoxying the floor,
which
which we.
may or may not.
Optional.
That's something that could easily be done at any point in the future, so if we wanted to remove an easy way down to.
Page 101,
We could just say that, opportunity to discuss for 2027.
101.
Thank you.
What's the 3 doors?
Yeah, there's my
There's
question.
3 outdoor doors, but really it's 2 outdoor doors and 1 internal door.
One internal door, yes.
Probably have to have an external door as the fire rating to go
Yep.
between the 2 buildings.
Right, okay.
It's just that
I call it 3.
So this is
clarify.
3 new doors, because there's already 1 door in the back, right?
All 3 would have to be replaced with.
You guys at the push bar.
Okay. Okay, so it's not. She says bring out 3 exterior steel doors.
Why does he have to reframe them?
So, but anyways, I just wanted to be clear on what they're doing there, so.
Yeah,
We install a vanity in a bathroom, wasn't,
What was that?
what
Yeah.
bathroom?
He thought there had to be a bathroom, so we said no, so
No,
that's,
so that's
no,
out of
that,
it.
you know, that's out.
yeah, he knows that's.
That was part.
Cause they can just go open the door and go into the little hallway in the actual hall and use those 2.
So my question is why does it have to be Panic hardware on that
Then we
interior
have
door?
no choice, that is called,
All 3 doors?
The interior door?
because you're changing the use, you must have it meet code. We have to fix the one in the hall.
Right, but those are all
Extra.
The 2 would have to have push bars and then the one in the hallway, I'm not too sure what it'd be.
It would
It's not-
still have to have a
it's not-
push bar.
It's an emergency exit.
Non-emergency.
It'll still probably have to meet code, which would mean it have to be a push bar.
That needs to be clarified.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, quote is fine, but there's a couple of variables in here that were not clear. Like we said, it's all vanity in the bathroom. Well, there is no bathroom.
Well, and we had that discussion, he thought he had to put a bathroom in there, but we don't, because he has to
So
make
does
the other
that
door.
change his quote?
It'll reduce it a bit.
So maybe we can say we're one move ahead, but want to revise this quote a little bit.
Perfect.
Remove the vanity. Understand procedures and requirements around the building.
Exterior doors, not 3. Because it's 1 is
Well,
an
it's-
exterior door.
Yeah, so it'd be 2 exterior, 1 interior.
Correct. And he does not include in his proposal, well, he does say electrical to include hookup of this unit, exhaust fans and exit lighting, but he does not talk about providing the the exit lighting.
Yes, they will. That will be.
Okay, but then it needs to say in there to include, because he's talking about the ventilator and the fans, and then the electrical, but he doesn't talk about exit lighting in the labor materials above. You follow?
I follow. So what you're asking us to do is contact Tremel Construction and ask for a revised quote based on no installing of vanity, 2 exterior doors, 1 interior door,
And exit lighting,
and exit lighting.
the hardware and provided, not just the hookup and the exit.
Let's leave labor and material there.
Okay,
I'm thinking.
How about a banner breakdown?
but, the first one was plumbing, the second one was the electrical? That's the 2 different costs?
Yep.
Okay,
So one is the plumbing, because he had a plumbing contractor come out. He also had the electrical contractor come out. So this must be the pricing for,
okay,
but we can get better clarity, so why don't we just,
So, yeah, just a clarity in the quote of that it is including all these
Okay, now, is he going to remove or modify that sink and all of that in there, or is that just gonna be boxed in, or?
No, we're gonna remove it.
He is, or we are?
He is. During this construction, all that stuff will be all done. I'm not going in there to remove sinks.
Okay, but where does it say he's removing the old plumbing?
Because he thought he had to put in a bathroom in there, originally when this quote came in, that
That's
was
$11,000.
yes.
It'll be less than
But we
that.
explained to him that no, we don't need to, because as long as there's that interior access between the two, the bathroom can be used on the other side.
Why didn't you give us a revised contract and after you talked to him, or was it timing here?
Timing.
Okay, can we get that revised to address the removal of the old plumbing that as able to, because some of it will still be there, because it is on the hall, is fed water. So some of it will need to be modified. I'd also like that drain to be, to put a user-friendly cover on it, because right now it's a grate. in the middle.
Yes, and it has to be dealt with.
Okay, but that should be something that's in there as well. He needs to be, know that, I don't want him to go and put his price in and then, oh, by the way, you now want this, oh, that's extra, oh, that's extra. I don't want this to build into something extra. That's why I would think we need to work with them to say, this will include this, and this, okay? And then have him sign off. And I think we can get him down with the removal of the vanity and maybe, modifying it. Can we get him down for a budget? That was something else that I'd like to ask.
Yeah.
And, would we want to consider, specifying I think the painting and epoxy could be a good thing, but should we keep it to the bare minimum for the school for this one? And then say, make clear that that could be something in the quote that could be done now or re-quoted in the future.
So
Instead of putting it to the 2027.
If you're going to be using this grant, which this is under the grants.
Yeah.
I'll do it right the first time.
Yeah.
So because if we have to apply for all of a sudden later,
That's a new application.
it's a totally new application.
what epoxy is that gray stuff that gets put on garage floors to make them
I think it'd be a nice thing. to
bright
have.
shiny?
I guess I would just.
And easier to clean the
budget.
Cement.
And in fact, wasn't the exercise people asked us not to put any other surface on?
Right, they just wanna.
They just want a clean surface.
they just-
Yeah, because the hall sucks like a polished concrete. I have it in my basement right now because we haven't floored it. It's a pain in the butt to clean because it still keeps on bringing up dust.
But it seals it.
Yeah.
It seals the concrete.
Mhm.
Okay, but I would like that drain needs to be covered off, the removal or repositioning of the plumbing. As opposed to putting in the vanity, just the repositioning of the plumbing. Or, because we don't want.
So basically, we're asking him to provide us a revised quote based on what you guys have provided us, which you have the most.
I don't have them all. I have repositioned the plumbing, user-friendly, great. What was the doors?
There's two exterior, one interior,
Yeah.
no bathroom.
Renewal of the same.
Yeah, I had the reposition plumbing, no.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I cleared it.
The word frame out is install. It's not frame out, because he's gonna have to change the frame. He will have to frame out the one, not all three.
How about, and seek better clarification on this quote.
We want to make sure that what we have asked him to do doesn't come back and say, oh, you didn't say that, or you didn't, that's extra. We want to stay away from that.
Yeah.
Best we can.
We can get it broke down a bit.
Provide
better.
clarity of quote and revise with removal of the bathroom addition, reposition of plumbing, user-friendly grate, and 2 exterior doors and 1 interior door.
And we'd like him to come in on the budget.
Which one is an existing door?
Well, we applied for what you told us to apply for. That's the, again, when we apply for a grant, we go on the basis of this is what.
You
we
can't
estimate.
go over what we
Okay.
apply for, because like we did,
So we have to come.
yeah.
If we actually claim the cost of the cost, and then it just reduces the amount.
Yeah.
Okay, negotiate, sorry.
Okay, so do you have clarity? You know where you're.
And if we need to, we will even ask him to come and present it to you.
No, I think we're okay, as long as those things are addressed.
And who's putting their name on this motion? Okay,
All in favor? Okay. Well, that's good. We got a couple projects.
Can you also ask him, sorry, about timeline?
Yes, date. We would like this to be completed by, do we want to set a date?
I think the intent was to get this organized so we could start this early this fall. And then we can just get it done because right now, everybody else is doing other stuff. This would be a project for him.
Can we put it in November 1st date?
Begin by November 1st or done by November 1st? Done by November 1st.
Or December 1st?
Yeah, I would say hopefully December 1st.
Yeah.
Okay, put a year in there. He can always say, no, I can't meet that, but.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a date in there.
Yeah.
Project completion December 1st.
Realistically, you know, this will probably have to come back to the council for revised quotes. We'd be deciding on this
Next month,
next
Next
August.
month, August.
August, so that gives them September, October, November, 3 months to complete it.
I don't see it taking any longer than that,
It
but.
just depends on his schedule.
Right?
I added
We did a motion for that.
an amendment of that, yeah.
Okay, done. Okay,
There's
volunteer recruitment deadline. So did we get,
I have 3. I'm still missing one more hall rec. I need one more hall rec because we said 2 hall, two members at large, and then you guys are gonna figure out one of you guys are gonna be on it. But we have to appoint them. So we're like,
Could we get an extension to the org meeting and then
you can appoint them.
re-advertise them?
Why an extension? Why not, simply organize with the members that you have
Okay,
and then have advertise for a vacancy and that's it?
okay.
Cause that's the Hall Society, like I was thinking I was gonna go on it as representative.
Okay.
I'm also on the Hall Society.
Mhm.
Council representative could very easily call or Dan, and I could go on as the Hall
if we need
Society
to fill it?
if we need to fill it.
Okay, that's
I
up to you
would
guys.
rather not appoint, just to keep it.
Does having, does moving forward with a vacancy really impact getting started?
No,
Like, it's not like we have to have an odd number for voting.
So I would suggest that either Dan or Paul go on as the council representative because I am on the Hall Society board. And I would put my name forward to Hall Society.
Would you want to know who put their names up then right now? If I pull it up, give me a second.
And I'm open to going on it. I know we talked about that, you know, that maybe between promotion.
Committees, so applicants we have received from George, Kathy Schultz,
Perfect.
and Tamara Dawson. So George and Kathy were the members at large and Tamara was the hall member.
Great. And I can go on as the other Hall member and then, Paul.
We're gonna do the appointments right now.
So then you do the motion, the members at large with their names?
Yeah, I'm gonna move by to appoint.
So we'll move to appoint, George and.
Kathy Schultz.
As member of large and Tamara Johnson and Leona as all society and all as the council.
There you go. So now you got your hats distributed.
And they can then decide who chairs those, and they can then decide when they're having a meeting. There is some, guidelines in there, I think, is there about,
Yeah, here, the current reference.
there's rooms of reference, yeah.
So we've got the motion to approve the members and have administration send out all the information to get ready to have the committee and decide the date of start. So that,
I'll make that motion,
Okay,
all in favor? Did you get everything? We're typing madly.
I am typing madly. And what was your part, Melissa? So we're appointing those 5 people.
Yeah.
Got.
And then you're sending them out the information.
send them out a letter of information requesting, get together and set up a schedule. Cause it's now in the committee hands. We don't want to.
Thank you.
Okay,
Alrighty, thank you.
no stone left alone. So the recommendation was to set up a committee, isn't this? mostly-
Discussion, yeah,
Discussion.
But
yeah, needs.
Okay.
Oh, I don't understand why the county of Stettler, we didn't, Delgado phoned me about a month ago, we're
So
collecting information. on this.
I watched the council meeting
Yes.
that day and they just took it as information. They did have a discussion about it and said, well, so this, I'm just ad-libbing because this was 2 weeks ago. That, there's other communities in the county of Stettler that use the cemeteries and, just leave it to volunteers or whatever, because cemetery places are struggling to get things done as well. So they didn't sound very interested. But Al did bring it up that he discussed with you what you guys are kind of looking for. But yeah, they just kind of just took it as information and did.
So Roshan Sands, I believe that we should set up a meeting with Roshan Sands because they did respond, right?
Yeah.
Saying that they were interested. Send another letter out to Urban Cemetery Club and just send me.
Okay.
And I will volunteer to attend that.
And I would like Erskine Cemetery Club should be involved. It's their, they're responsible for the cemetery. I would not like to exclude them. So we gotta get them on board. That way I'm not, too,
Stettler County, I'm not too
worried about, but definitely the three others. And if Stettler County wants to be, apprised of the information and share this information, then we could do that.
We're just saying Roshan and Erskine Cemetery Club that we would like to set a date and just have a discussion.
Invite them to a meeting on
Okay.
a certain date.
Okay. What would you like? September or August
Let's
or?
Well, we gotta let it get to their council meeting, and their next council meeting is August.
Is November 11th an important date for this initiative?
Yes, yeah.
So we gotta.
You have to set up the crosses in October.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying we don't have a time.
You don't have a lot of time.
So that's why I think the last week of August, 24th to 28th.
That would work perfectly because that goes back to their council. We'll give them the date too.
Okay, set up a meeting and invite Erskine, like the cemetery club to it.
Okay, I can
In
talk
fact,
to,
you know what, invite county of Stettler anyway.
Okay.
Just invite all three parties and us to a meeting on or about those days.
August 24th here at the
Yeah,
hall.
sure.
okay,
Leona.
Looking for the county of Stettler representative.
Just set an invite.
Invite more.
Yeah.
But these are all the information.
Okay,
That's
Yeah.
a great idea.
So 10 a.m.
okay. So is it 24th at 10 a.m.?
at the hall.
Yeah.
Is it booked?
Ooh.
It'll be booked. Why can't we have it in here?
Someone said it in the hall at first, or like, okay.
Better here, because that was the thing.
Okay. So you've got the.
Yeah, give me a second. Okay, so cemetery, there we go. Okay,
So the option was to invite the three parties
yeah,
to a meeting on 24th to finalize to discuss.
yes. Invite the Somerville, Roshan Sounds County of Stettler, Lauren Thurston and the Erskine Cemetery Club, and request a meeting
To attend
to
the
attend.
request of attendance.
To attend a meeting scheduled
On
on
24th at 10 o'clock. to discuss it.
And the meeting, during August 24th, 10 o'clock here at this office.
To request her to invite her.
To invite, yeah.
To invite. Invite to. Okay.
for this discussion of the Minnesota.
My discussion with Lauren ahead of it is that he and Kathy go out there in beginning of October before they leave. They put up all the crosses, all of that sort of fun stuff. Way ahead of time. Really, the Legion's mandate is you're not supposed to put crosses up until 2 weeks before, but like Lauren said, we've got to get them in the ground, we leave on holidays. So, and Kathy and I are getting to the point that we may not be able to volunteer to do this anymore. So we're looking to set up a volunteer group that does it, that continues it. Whether they contact the school or not, you have transportation issues, so on and so forth. Like there's lots of moving pieces to this,
Yeah,
but it's a matter of, it's always been left on Lauren's plate and no one else.
yeah, I think one of the unfortunate things though, is we really do need to have somebody that champion it personally.
Exactly.
And I don't think, I mean, I love the idea of us encouraging it, but you know, unless somebody is personally,
Maybe also in that letter, simply say invite those parties, invite those associations and any interested general public that they would like to attend. And if we get 8 or 10 people, we get 8 or 10
Can you
people.
mention the name? Who we with? You just
Oh, Algarve, Cook County is that.
with the council.
Yeah.
With the council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the general gist of it should be, have this general thing with these, they may have mornings, I don't think would be interesting.
The other part of it is we are also, Lauren has said in the past, our maintenance has gone out and removed the crosses and we store the crosses here in our building.
right,
But as long as we have a representative on that group, we can still negotiate that part.
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
but if there's a better solution, then great.
Right.
If not,
And that includes our contribution and maybe because some process has to be repaired and Lauren knows the cost of getting those crosses repaired.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Okay, this will provide them with,
Need something.
motion was made by Leona, all in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, the memo regarding, are we up there yet?
No, you're
Council report.
Dan, you're up first.
I not have anything to report. I don't think I attended any meetings for council. That was before, last month.
Yeah.
So I mean, I dealt with a few things in the community, but nothing in an official capacity. You know, the water rescue thing,
Yeah.
the quads on properties, all that kind of stuff, but that wasn't any community meetings.
Yeah.
and So I don't really have to report on that.
Thanks.
And your BLM IGP, we already had all this stuff in there.
And Leona, I just stuck in that page you said for Shirley McCullum Regional Waters. Yeah. That page you told us from the agenda. So we stuck that in under your reports.
That was it. I still have meeting reports. so-
Yeah, no, I just
That's fine.
letting you know
This is
we
what you told
stuck
us
it in.
at.
Out of the multiple,
Yes.
yes, absolutely. So, June 29th, I attended the ambulance meeting for Paul. And I did, we're looking, everything looks great. It was mostly about the audit. Here it is, here. It was mostly about the audit. There is the one thing that they did put a request forward for was for the IV pump. They want 3 IV pumps. They found the hospital foundation were going to commit to 1. So the suggestion is to make an advertisement, see if the FDAA could get donations from the community for the other 2 IV pumps. Linda said, makes no sense to buy 1 pump. You either have them in all the buses or not. So that's where they were going with that. The land lease amendment that was also on their meeting agenda was just simply for more accurate to put the Wi-Fi access at the station just outside town. So there was really nothing in there that was anything.
No contract discussions with Alberta Emergency Health
No,
Services.
with Alberta Health Services, so.
Yeah,
The contract, yes,
we are.
they awarded the contract,
Yeah.
absolutely. They didn't put that in here, but it was part of their update. They did get awarded the contract, and it's a long-term one as well, so you will be going into union negotiations, and everything is successful,
Okay,
as far as I know.
I know the, I think the contracts with the staff are coming up for the,
That's the union negotiations.
Yeah. union. But then, yes, also there was the update, which I think I updated previous month, that province-wide, they'll be doing the new sole source contract with SDA, not an open competitive contract, which is.
Correct.
very-
Correct, yes,
very good.
that's why it wasn't on here.
Okay,
Okay,
Next.
so that was good. Sherman McClellan, Regional Water Services, it was a video conference. Capstone ceremony got delayed because they could not get a minister there. And they really think because the total cost of the project was $90.1 million and 90% of it was from the grant, they really want some government registration. I'm sure. So they'll be looking at that. Did put in there the project updates which are in our package to let you know where everybody is at. I thought that was interesting. The other thing they are going to do is they're going to put up plaques on all the remaining. Have been submitted. Project 4 and 8, they have to play catch up. The projects 1 to 3 have the plaques up. So that will include the White Sands, Summer Village White Sands pump station here. Those plaques are $4,300 up to GST and so forth. So that recognition plaque will go on there. Next meeting will be in September. They have to determine the date yet. Here's my schedule, just a general list, financial statements. They also talk about the continuity, training for management. That was an in-house thing, IV pumps, talked about that. The lighting pumps were tabled to September. And I was asked our council if we would be willing to donate anything for the lighting pumps. $482.95 per pump.
482 what?
$482.95. White Sands Portland will be that much, sorry. For 2 of 3 pumps. So I'm going to ask council if we are willing to donate that much towards the purchase of those pumps for the department.
do we have that?
Hold on.
That would be, I think.
That's under,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, unless we put it under our reserve emergency services.
yeah, you can pull from
You
there.
can pull from there.
I'm trying to log into Meteor.
But I think pumps are extremely beneficial to their staff. Because it automatically does everything for them. But like she said, unless we have all 3, there's no sense putting one in.
What was the rationale for the Alberta government to only put it in one of the?
Alberta government isn't gonna put any in, this is that just.
No, sorry. Yeah, Stetler, the hospital foundation was gonna pay for one.
Yeah.
But where's this $482? Is that the cost of the
The
pump?
cost of White Sands portions, because what they talked about was to bill each of the, or to ask for donations from each of the member municipalities based on their member representation. And for White Sands, it would be $482.
And what we are doing it for,
Population base,
Yeah.
right here.
so it's a lot higher than the cost.
So County Stetler would, and County Stetler, they would have the huge bulk of it.
What's the total cost for these three pumps?
Well, based on our typical, we're 10% in of the total. So when,
I think they were over
that would
4,000.
put it into the 4 or 5,000.
Sorry, I did
Our
not think
portion
that
of
was.
the 4. That's how norm, you know,
Okay.
normal stuff. But that's what's true.
So we are tabling this to the September meeting. So we have another council meeting in August. Sorry, I did not write that down. So if you wanted to phone Linda and ask her, she would be able to give you the information. And then we could address it at our council meeting in August.
Okay, I can take that away, to get more information and bring that back. You know, I think,
Okay,
I did not write.
we'll defer any of that decision. Okay, anything else? Leona?
You actually do a motion on that and
Okay,
so that you're asking
call to investigate. total
Paul to
cost.
request additional information and breakdown.
Yeah.
For the pumps.
Prior to,
August meeting.
I think it's good to have, you know, a full package of information.
I did not do that. There is also on, the Settle District ambulance, they did receive an RPAP award. There is a YouTube video on that RPAP award, which is really good. If we could provide a link to that on our website, okay, that would be absolutely, great. Next meeting is September 14th, 2026 at 10 a.m. And they have now negotiated 12-hour shift. As opposed to the other, shift.
How were we, sorry, I'm doing the motion part. To request Counselor Ashford to bring back additional information.
And that was for the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the meeting, July 6th, we did a tour of the whole system of the pumping system, right from the Red Deer River all the way through and all the way around. Very, very interesting. However, there were some delays on the water license to pump, but they should be getting that any day now. A consultant could be hired soon, and then the construction tenders will go over 2027. Depending on construction timelines, they're thinking fall 27, spring of 28 before construction is completed on that plant. Gully has experienced some delays, but are still hoping to turn the pumps on this fall. The pump itself was gone over again, and they ran an outside filter for us. The micron filters used for the cart will be inside. I thought they were outside, but they're not. They're inside right before the pumps is what they're at. And they're on an automatic system. They do have to change up the control system. That's why the RFPs are more detailed than what they thought. There is quite a bit of flow after mirrors. So up to Alex Lake has to come up another 3 or 4 feet before it will actually spill over into the spillway and come out. From Mirror onward, there is, and there's a big map here. So this map here from Mirror, which has Carly Creek coming into it and Spotted Creek coming into it. There's quite a bit of flow there, and that flow is going into Spotted Lake, and we are bringing some water into Buffalo Lake from those two grades without the pumping. But that's because of the massive rainfall that was there. So what I thought was really interesting is we also get, like, no gets a large amount of rain, because of these creek systems that feed into the waterways, we're actually getting rain from that far away. That will end up in Buffalo Lake eventually. So it was really interesting, and you can copy this map if you want. I had two of them.
Probably should put one up in here so people can.
Yeah, we'll post stuff there.
Yeah. This is a minor map. This is a bigger map, a bigger area, but it's hard to read.
And it is, so they identify where the water is coming from.
Where the water is coming from and all that sort of stuff. For the pipelines, yep, okay, here's the Canadian stuff. Yeah, on the spot of lake structure north of there. It's all good.
Paul, we've got the housing, anything you want to touch on any of those or?
Yes, so we did have the strategic planning meeting over 2 days, June 29th and 30th. Lots of really good discussions, with all the, community representatives there. The real push going forward, the lodges, I think, are running pretty well. They've done a lot of the major work on them. We're running quite well. Affordable housing across the whole province is really feeling like it's at a shortage. And there is a push to do quite a bit of work in Stettler County and Stettler area. Probably moving forward with some sort of mixed housing where it's a mix of that market rent and affordable housing and maybe even retail. Talking Stettler of a business case to self-fund. Be clear, this would all be our requisitions only cover the seniors housing. Our requisitions don't cover affordable housing, but they have a model that would be able to self-fund through this mix of at market and affordable housing, essentially making a 49-unit complex on the north end of Stettler, and then also looking at building 1 or 2 duplexes in Erskine and 1 in Botha. So these are just conceptual at this point. This cannot come back for approvals, but they've got a business case about this. This can be self-funded with a mortgage taken out by the housing authority.
So they did that quite a few years ago, and the duplexes and stuff were in Big Valley and Denelda, so they're just expanding to the area. That for one of the apartment complexes on the north end was also built under that. So that's not new. My only concern is with retail space. Retail space there's an abundance of it instead of right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they're depending on retail space to help fund that, that would be where my concern would be.
Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit, and talking about essentially there's a lot of vacancy rate in Stettler right now. I think from what they said, the real drive there's no vacancies right now, both in Stettler and throughout
Residential.
Yeah. So I think they feel that with the at market rent can really be where the business case comes to be able to make it with a mix of at market and affordable housing within it. The retail, that's a very good point, and it was presented as a maybe, but that was certainly a concern that was brought up as well. So that's
Okay,
part of deliberations for sure. And we're quite a ways away from actually having a solid proposal that's being voted on.
It's not a bad time because federal funding might be available for some of those units as well.
Yes, but If it's federally funded, then it has to be solely affordable housing.
Oh,
So you have to make a decision of trying to go for funding and go 100% subsidized housing. Or if you are doing a mix of market and subsidized, then you can't get it. And the current funding is basically all been spoken to. So if they want to go ahead with the feeling, if they want to go ahead with funded, it will be very competitive to try to get it. So this was why they're thinking of this other one.
we're not downtown Vancouver.
That's yeah, very, very good discussion.
I think your inside voice came out there, Leona.
That's really the only major thing to discuss. We had the annual information meeting on July 4th. I thought went really well.
Oh, I guess yeah.
We both did
We
that.
both, yes,
Lots of good questions on it. Really got lots of questions along our recreational lease renegotiations and management and balance of environmental preservation and use of the beach. So certainly a lot of people very involved in that. Hold on repairs, gate access, and part of in the MR area across from beach access 4, which I saw on the walk history. It looks like that's already gone in, so that's awesome.
yes, it is, and I did stop by this morning and talk to one of the residents that live on that, and they were very happy with it.
Okay.
So they wanted to thank us.
So upcoming, 2 things to mention. So this Red Deer River Watershed Association outreach event is this coming Friday. I think Dan and I both indicated that we would go. And I have agreed to give a informal brief presentation on, our priorities and concerns as a community along the lake. I was thinking I would basically touch on, if any of you guys have ideas for other things to mention, but obviously water levels and impact on access and recreational use of the lake is huge for us. Give some background on where the water levels are at and where they're moving. Continue lake water quality, ensuring that, avoiding blue green algae, other algae blooms, this very timely water analysis that we can talk about there. Prevention of invasive species, particularly as we're starting up the water pumping, but what else can we do as a community to prevent that? Shoreline preservation, natural and impact shoreline, again balanced with use and living beside that. Accessible and usable boat launches. Those are some of the key things of interest. If anybody can think of anything else,
I may not be able to make that meeting. I'm gonna try. It's right around Newmansburg, isn't it? Yeah, that's gonna be tight for me. So I'll try to catch up to you and maybe keep your phone on my track. I've got.
Sure. I'm actually just gonna be back in Calgary and just coming up that morning. And, so I'll be early start, but I'll make sure I'm back.
And date is it, sorry?
The 24th. At 11.
Yeah, at 11, and it's over on the Bar Harbor Access Road.
Is it Bar Harbor or is it Moss Hill access?
Isn't it the
When I
same?
got there,
They
According
want
to the map, it was basically just at the gates to enter into the camp.
Okay.
But I think we're gonna walk over that way.
That's a hike.
That's a hike.
You guys better pick, do they know that?
I don't know.
It's
It is a hike.
from there, it's 4 kilometers.
I don't know if we're going all the way up there.
Well, if you want to reach the lake, that's how I.
You wanna reach Moss Hill, it's, and it's,
Or Bar Harbor, yeah.
I mean, if you can drive into Bar Harbor, which you should be able to, although the camp is in session.
Okay.
I don't know, you may wanna just double check on that.
All right,
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm up for it, but.
I've done it a few times, but it's like, FYI. Anyway,
I have some information on the pumping project and water level that I needed to scan for our committee, but maybe we'll copy them for you today. It'll give you some
Do
information.
you have any of the older books about like those books that were put out from like 20 years ago? Maybe you
Yeah.
could give them to them as kind of as a handout?
I do have a copy of that.
But-
Management, but I'll bring that along.
Because it's information.
Don't we? About the little intermunicipal development plan,
We can print it off for anybody.
No, but.
big books, it's portal.
Have to look. I
Um,
haven't seen any recently.
I'm sure, I think I've seen,
Oh, there you go.
I think I've seen, it online somewhere. so
Yeah.
I'll make sure.
It is online, they-
But I'd like a copy that I'll bring them along, I want to keep.
Okay, yeah, I have a copy as well, and I know, I thought we had a box, the one that was given to us. but
There is I can get a box, Todd has,
By Friday?
on Friday.
I think we could print you one from online.
No.
No, you don't want, it's like 100 and some, and pictures and, no,
Yeah.
it's a good book. But if, I was just saying if it's, something that we had.
They keep trying to give them away at our meetings and I never grab a box.
And I thought we were going to at one point, and we never did, but I know there's a number of them floating around. But if we could get some of that, if not, we could send them to the website.
Well, can you reach out to Pat and see if it's possible, and if they've got a stack of them, I can pick them up Friday morning and take them up.
I mean, they were done 20-some years ago, but they are still valid, and it gives you a lot of historical and principles.
Yeah. I think they say it's intended to be updated every like 20 to 30 years, so it's probably coming up for an update, but it's still valid.
I will do that and I will get you I think the appropriate website, because the one that's in the book is incorrect.
Okay, and then the only thing I other wanted to mention is, our next council meeting, for August 17th. Would people be open to shooting it to Tuesday the 18th rather than Monday the 17th for next month?
Hey, this is good timing.
I think that would be fun.
And while you're doing that, can you do the other piece that I wanted to?
Do it right now.
So we want to change
You want to
Monday to Tuesday.
move the meeting from August 17th to August 18th?
Yeah.
Holding the annual organizational meeting starting at 9:30 and following with the regular council meeting.
Or the other way around.
No.
We do the or on. August.
This would be covered two things in one shot.
And, last thing is, can I request a 5-minute?
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, 5-minute recess.
okay. Okay, second
Okay.
session at 11:31.
Okay, so we need a motion to change our, next meeting from Monday the 17th to Tuesday the 18th.
I'll make that motion.
And scheduling the org at
And
9:30
scheduling the org in the morning
and council meeting to follow.
and council meeting to follow. Okay, Paul made that motion, all in favor? Okay, now do we want to accept the councilors,
You didn't want to talk about the AIM meeting,
You need your.
annual information?
report.
oh,
That's a
no.
resolution actually.
We did the commission report.
CAO report.
Oh, do we want to do the councilors first, or do we? do
You
them
do
all?
the councils
Yeah,
first and then accept all of them, but did you want to talk about your annual information meeting on July 4th? You said you forgot about it and we hadn't finished it. Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah, Paul did. There weren't any outstanding issues, significant. I mean, we did have some small that I think we addressed for the most part, but we didn't have any, follow through additional information requests.
The only thing that came out of that meeting that I think is of interest to us was Donna wanted to get together advocacy letters for
contact
road.
came in, yeah. Dan and I had a conversation, yeah.
We gave her a copy and then I put a copy in your council package too. So
I think it would be appropriate. We said, the more support we can get, and if somebody in the community wants to take that on, then that was great.
So she got a copy from
But
me.
what I'm thinking is in our meeting with the county, if we could contact her prior and see if she has any support there.
Oh, yeah,
Or the meeting with the minister.
okay,
That's what I'm.
so you wanna,
Other than that, they were,
good,
issues that we were able to deal with directly there, or, like the gate was a little follow-up. one.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Okay. do you want to accept your council reports as presented? Okay.
All in favor? Okay, CAO report.
Okay, I got a lot of stuff in there already. We've dealt with, so we've had some legislative and regional initiatives. So safety codes accreditation. So now that we're moving, that's moving over. I'm just reviewing the new draft.
So that's the fire discipline. That's where I had a
Yes.
comment. I'm having some concern here because this is supposed to be a fire commission where you have community representation and you have counselors assigned to that. And this whole fire commission and everything else seems to be going forward with just the CAOs and with no feedback. Like we've had no fire commission meeting, no nothing.
Okay, so we did have a meeting, which is in my thing that I had a meeting on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just reviewed the basic stuff of the governance bylaw and the clarity of some of the services and the formula. Unfortunately, we've come up with a solution, but it does have to go to the fire commission. So we said, what's the next step? So the first thing we have to do, and I'm just waiting for Andrew to get back to me with the next step, is we're gonna have to have a resolution that you are wanting to move forward to do the fire commission. Then we have to get the letter to the minister. So I'm just waiting now back because we said, okay, how do we get this going forward? You're gonna do your appointments and you'll probably have a resolution we're gonna require to move forward with establishing the fire commission. So we can get the letter to the minister because we do have to have their approval. We have a governance bylaw that we feel comfortable letting you guys, but once the commission becomes the members, you're gonna have your meeting and you're gonna have to review the bylaw, the service stuff, and the funding formula, but we think we've tweaked it well. Now that we've got the budget.
That's where I'm having the concern is the royal we. The we is all on the administration side, and if this is a political entity, a commission involving all the municipalities, should not all of that negotiation and stuff be happening within temporary meetings? We have temporary meetings before December.
You have to form the commission and we gotta.
I know we have to form the commission, but the formation of the commission and the funding formulas and everything else, we talked about all that in December. And as commission members, we looked at it and said, no, we're not happy with it and everything else. So why are those meetings not happening jointly with
Like one
everyone
before.
like they were before?
They will be moving forward. We have to get the commission formed. We created the bylaws that we would have to create it anyway. Somebody has to create it. You guys still have to review them. We think we've tweaked it for safety measures of looking at all the communities and making sure nobody's gonna get burned. That's our job. But that's as far as it's gonna go. You have to approve them now. And we've looked at the formula. Yeah, the formula didn't look good when we were first presented it because it was nobody had a budget. We've now moved to, we see there is a budget now. We do have some numbers and we've been able to play with the formula now.
Okay, direction on the negotiations of the formula.
We're not approving the formula. You guys all have to approve it now as the commission.
Listen, what I'm saying is that there should have been, now whether that communication should come from you to us or whether it should be the commission as a total, I don't know. I'm sitting on this committee, I'm totally in the dark. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what you've negotiated or how anything has happened as far as the funding, and I'm not happy with that.
We
Because
are negotiating. We've just been reviewing all the stuff that has to get in place for you guys as part of a commission through the legislation and to get this process started of saying, okay, that's it.
okay, you're missing my point. You're missing my point. All of that background work in order to make that commission should have or should be involving all of the tentative commission members in that. Because if we have input, now we gotta send you back to the drawing board if we don't like what you guys have come up with. And that doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know if it's a communication issue.
Is there feedback? Where's the feedback?
Yeah,
That's all going to the commission after you guys do the resolution to formulate it, so we can get the letter to the minutes.
It's really something we don't.
Are you guys in favor of the commission? We haven't officially done the resolution. That has to be done.
But what you're saying is all the information that you are currently reviewing,
We'll go to the commission.
but that information should be reviewed by council concurrently, not.
I don't think,
Not a good done deal.
No, it goes to once you formulate the commission and make your appointment, the commission members will go through it.
What information are you reviewing and negotiating on right now?
What originally was presented to you guys with the formula based, which we didn't have any idea of how they came up with the formula. So we've been asking for the breakdown so that it can be explained to the commission members.
And
You need to, I think, who's we? Is
County of Stettler, Ocean Sands, White Sands, we just.
administration.
I know.
Administration just to
That information is what should come back to us in some way, shape or form prior to the commission being formed. Because when it gets down to the point, okay, we're gonna have this meeting and we're gonna form a commission, I'm gonna get that information a week, maybe 2 weeks before, if I'm lucky. And it may be before the council or after the council. Like all of this reviewing that you guys are doing, I'm hoping that, or was thinking that would feed through to us as representatives. So that we would have some idea where you're going and give you feedback.
so we're reviewing it as you're reviewing it.
This is the exact same stuff you were given back in September. This is all that we've done is just those little tweaks, which I did provide you that we reviewed the bylaws and we found some little tweaks we thought would be
The
helpful.
funding formula, how did you get to a funding formula if you've given,
It's the funding formula that was presented to you guys at that committee.
which we said was unacceptable?
And that was because we didn't have a budget. They weren't separated yet. Now they have a budget. Now there's been a separation. That's why this quality,
So where's that
Fire.
information?
it's coming because we need to move it forward. We're asking them, we said, what's the next steps to move it forward? You did agree you wanted to move to a commission, so where's the resolution so we can move the process forward with the minutes?
But that, prior to that, you gotta have the funding formulas at least somewhat in place, because we don't, once you're already in the commission, then it's.
But the commission is the one who's going to approve these
I
things.
agree with you, Melissa. I agree with you. The commission approves it, but the information that your councils are reviewing and tweaking and getting clarity on, we want that information back here prior to us going into this commission. Like, I'm having a real problem with this because it is so insolent and it is not in the open. You're right. We haven't formally formed a commission and we knew it was going to take a year to do that. Absolutely. But that information and that thinking that you're doing, that clarity that you're getting on the funding and what services and all that sort of stuff, that should be fed back to this council at a minimum as me as the representative, and then I should be able to inform the rest of the councilors.
I will make a request to the county to have all of them. It's only been the 2 summer villages and us to get a better understanding of all this stuff. That's all it is. And the summer villages, especially us, between us and the county, we have the highest assessed value and largest municipality compared to all others.
Right, which is why I want this information
So,
prior to this formation.
Their formula was gonna penalize all of the summer villages significantly based on the formula they came up with.
right, and that formula was based on a presumptuous estimated
No, you're right.
budget because it didn't have an actual
The
budget.
number wasn't finalized, but
Correct.
that's one thing, but the way that they calculated it was wonky.
And we've been going through that. They're sending us the copy of it again. I have recommended to them, we do not want to use high assessments because that just throws us to sleep because we're always going to have a higher assessment just like the county. Okay, so that's all the recommendations that I have had discussions along with Roche and Sands because it does affect them too. So we've kind of said these are ideas that we think would work better, but again, it's not up to us or the county, it's up to the commission. They're gonna administer it based on the commission.
Recording of the commission too. I
Correct.
think our concern is that you're not sharing that information adequately so that we can have input into that. You're making those decisions with other CEOs.
We're just drafting this stuff and going through the drafted stuff, but it's all going through the commission for approval. The commission has to approve the governance.
That's not what my concern is.
Is your concern that we should be doing this negotiation directly rather than?
No, but there should be feedback. There should be, information meetings, like maybe where the representatives from the Southern Village of Roche and Sands and White Sands, not just the CAO, sit down and talk about this. We may have some ideas that you guys don't have. Feeding back into that formation of that commission. And that's what I thought the process was going to be, not 3 or 4 people sitting aside, coming up with this and then forming a commission and
All we did was review the bylaw for the governance.
but you
You guys are gonna make
talk
that.
about funding formula, you talked about how that had the budget, all of it. We don't have that, no, none of that information.
So the governance bylaw was all drafted.
Yes, and we did see that.
And so that has been drafted. We feel comfortable for the commission to review it.
But you're,
This is not a committee.
That's great.
Okay,
The drafting of the bylaw is ready. The commission will have to review that and approve it.
There's a portion that you're missing a step. The members of the pre-commission are us. and the elected members of Roshan and the elected members of all of the different parties. We want to see it before it becomes a commission.
Then I will let the county know to send me everything for your appointment and the background information.
With the information like, if you come up with a rough guide for funding, then we would like to see that before we get into a commission.
Which,
This is counselors, not the commission.
yes, which we have, this is all the guide. It's all up to those members who are appointed to the commission to approve of it.
You're still missing the point.
So you have provided, okay, this guy, you and whoever the world we is, have provided feedback, and that feedback was in that document that you gave us earlier. I don't know if it's been amended since or whatever. So you provided that feedback. And when we sat down, we said, okay, within the next little while, all of us are gonna sit down and we're gonna look at this and we're gonna decide what's good in this bylaw or not. So I had thought that this was a negotiation project where the CAOs and the councils were all going to look at this stuff collectively to come up with something that we agreed upon to present as this is the basis for this commission. Now you're also telling us, well, we've also looked at the funding formulas and we've also looked at the real budget, and we have no evidence of this and we have no information about this whatsoever. That should be provided to all the prospective members of the commission, not just the staff. That's where I'm going.
And that's what we're working here is now as I've asked, and the question we asked, what's the next steps to form the commission? Because, okay, all the draft work is here.
Well, let's say you're missing it. I don't care about the formation of the commission. The formation of the commission is going to happen once all of that is agreed upon or is a format that can be voted on. The input side of it, which is what's been happening, is excluding the elected councils that were appointed to be part of that pre-commission.
Yeah, it's just one step.
So the meeting on Thursday, there is going to be information coming forward for the next meeting for you guys to get that process going and what has to be done with all the attachments that came from September.
So we will have a scheduled meeting with administration and affected parties or council in different councils that we will still have the opportunity to discuss prior to the commission forming. I don't want to be sitting up at a desk and say, okay, you are the commission, now the rest of us leave and you guys discuss funding and all that. No.
We're
We
gonna
want this information presented to us,
Yes,
not the commission.
it's gonna be presented to you guys based on all of this stuff now with the pre-budget now and all the actual numbers and how it's going to look and how we move the steps forward for the commission. And then you guys can make your decision on that one.
Well, we'll see how it rolls out, but I just,
Yeah, I guess, the request to our administration, not to the rest of them, is that we are more involved in that pre-commission process.
I will be requesting with Andrew that you guys would like to have a sit-down meeting.
Well,
I'll get the communication stuff and send it to you.
it's something that,
Because
that's.
Otherwise, all this is exactly what you're presented in September. We've just been reviewing it.
Well, and we didn't like that.
it's the review part that you should be getting input from all of the prospective members of that commission, not just the staff.
I think what I'm hearing is, Melissa, you're saying that you're gonna present all this information to council for decision. But I think what I'm hearing is from council is that we want to be very much involved in the discussion in that part of the working group on this, not just part of the final decision ratifying of this.
Yeah, we don't want to be the ratifying members. We want to be, especially regarding budgets, especially regarding, funding formulas and representation on the commission. Those are things, I know there was some preliminary stuff that we all got a bit of shock off when it first came out, and then they were going to rework some of that, okay. But prior to it going to a commission, we think that there's something that needs to be done here.
I
Is
will,
that fair?
I'll get it all formulated, everything, and how the legislation works and all that. I'm only doing, helping with, normally your administrative of the county, like your,
Yeah.
same with your other commission, they do all the work. We've just been providing some input. They're still doing the work. But these things had to be drafted to move this into another phase.
So, moving forward,
I don't have approval of any of this. It all, I've just looked at it. What looks good, what doesn't look good, what could be an issue. That's it.
See, this is where I look at this regional collaboration. July 14th, had a meeting with Summer Village of Grossman Sands, reviewed proposed amendments to the Regional Fire Commission. Well, okay. July 16th, scheduled a meeting with the County of Stettler to discuss. So this is the CAOs doing all of these reviews and all of these discussions for funding formulas and budget implications. Where's Dan in this? Where's the other Dan in this?
David did dropped it, it's administrative, just looks after pulling all that data together. That's what we did. And what, that is all. And then the feedback of the bylaw, because legally we were looking at legal things that could be complicated for us. That was it. Something to put some safety things for the smaller communities.
but you did say that
That's
we're
it.
discussing funding formulas. That's not,
All we did was try to look at the exact funding formula that you guys were presented.
that we didn't like.
And how does this work? And we've been gaining the understanding of how it works and explaining how we need to make this more clear so that you guys can understand it. That's it. But we don't have, we're not approving anything because we can't, only you guys can in that elected official capacity or the commission level.
Okay, maybe I'll approach this from a different avenue. We always talk about education. And education is, information is always key to making good decisions. And so this education process that you and John are going through with the county, I think should be inclusive of the, at very least the representatives that are going to be forming part of the fire commission. And it doesn't have to be inclusive of all the council, but at least we have the opportunity to have some feedback into it.
And that's the intent moving forward, is to get all this out to you guys and where's the next step so that you guys can make the decisions on those next steps.
It's kind of like when we bring a bylaw prior to, we've done a bunch of legwork, but it's up to your guys's or the commission in this case, once it's formed, to go over and hash things out.
I don't want to do it before the commission is formed. I want to do it, I don't want to do it after the commission is formed. I want to be able to be part of that before the commission is formed. I don't want to show up at a meeting and you guys say, okay, this is how these funding formulas work. I want time to have some feedback. Whether I've got it or not, I've got any, I don't know. All I'm saying is that there is a disconnect here, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to discuss it anymore.
Can you share at least the key points of representation, funding formula, and I don't know what the third one was, but we want that information internally
That's the
prior
plan.
to all of this.
That is what we were trying to get a better understanding so we can bring this to you guys. That's the intent.
Well, you want to bring it to the council as a package thing. Where we don't want that. We want to be more active into developing some of this, because some of this was quite, when we had that first meeting, it was quite a shock to us how this was going to affect everybody's finances.
And I don't disagree with you. I think
So
there was
we
a
want to make sure that we don't get that shock again. And all of a sudden, it's kind of a done deal, and now we're fighting in a commission about who's gonna pay for what. We would like that input ahead of time. I think we missed it last time.
I agree with you. I'm kind of stuck because the legislative requirements are telling us certain steps.
Those are the steps for forming a commission. Like Aaron said, before you form that commission, there's a whole bunch of background work that goes into that,
And
right?
this is the background work, but
Right, and you are
That's it.
continuing to work on that background work. Whether, and to be honest with you, what should happen with this is because it's a negotiation of a contract, it should be in an in-camera session where we can actually go through some of this information because we're negotiating that contract with the commission.
this isn't a contract.
The parameters for that commission are.
They will be.
There's a governance because it is an elected board that needs approval by
Yeah.
any province.
Anyway, moving forward, we would like to get more involved, at least the council that is involved in this committee or prior to this committee, we would like that information here.
I will get everything summarized to you, send you all the bylaws, everything that I have gathered
Okay, up to
from
this
all
point.
the discussions from this point.
We don't need to send to council at this point.
I would prefer it goes all to council and then you'll be well aware because it will have to come to a council meeting
And then
for the next step approval, which is probably gonna be August from what our discussions were. So we can get the letters started and the approvals from the minister.
okay, do you want to finish the report?
Boat launch, still awaiting the, final document from,
Is there a timeline on that?
I've been with a lot of stuff going on, so I'm trying to, I'll send them off a response and then they're partway through, so we should have our final documents right away here to, then you can make your decisions on your next steps. Jack's Pond, I haven't had time to review that after the situation we noticed in Roshan. That their donated building that they had is actually now structurally not holding its integrity. And it's cracking, so I wanna make sure that whatever we do moving forward for Jack's Pond meets all engineering requirements
And warranty work.
and warranty work because, they're having bigger issues.
Okay, so what
Were you
part
planning
of the
on,
delay?
were you planning on using that exact same structure?
That's not my plan. I'm gonna review what was provided by your Paul Society members, and then I am going to probably have to pull something together and I'll require probably council approval on my next steps for what you want me to do. Do I go up for an RFP and make sure I do the whole thing right? Do you want the concrete pad? I need to know more about that.
What do you need to know before that to get us involved?
I'd like more time to review this and then bring it back to you guys with all the recommendations for you to discuss and decide.
So will we have a recommendation by the next council meeting?
That's my plan.
For the pad, for the structure, for the RFP?
That's my
So the
plan.
RFP will be ready to go out or subject to our approval in August.
That's your approval.
Subject to your approval. Yeah, I wanna get moving on this because these are all.
Well, we're running out of time. I know it's the middle of summer, but we're running out of time. If we're a month away from the next meeting, then the RFP has to go out. We have to give time to respond, and then you gotta, the next one, and
We have time for it this fall. To get concrete in, we still got time.
we're pushing that envelope, especially if we're a lot of us for England.
I think we will, but that's hard to say.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that hopefully the rec committee can look at, is even helping with some of the location.
Yeah.
Because, you've got electrical, you've got the water, you've got, the wind patterns and all of that around that lake. Some suggestions were to tuck it into the hill a little more, all of that, and that would require, well, no matter what we do, there's some earthworks to do.
Correct.
So,
Structurally, we wanna make sure we do it right first time.
yeah, so I don't wanna, there's a feeling that some of these are getting pushed back and then they're gonna be pushed into next year. I'm trying to get this,
We're moving as fast as we can with them.
Once again, though, like, it's better to do this right than to make sure we get it done in time. What are the implications if we're to, like, slide, is this the capital money that we have to use this year, or?
From your Parks and Rec reserve,
It's
like
from the
that
Parks and Rec
restricted
reserve.
reserve, that's what you guys had asked or said in your capital budget.
Put this in there.
Okay, so it's our own self-imposed deadline.
Yeah.
Correct, we'd like to see some movement on this.
So is there,
Yeah.
I guess my question I'm hearing from you that you guys are overwhelmed with the amount of stuff. Is there anything that we as council can do to help you with some of this?
Unfortunately, a lot of this is legislative requirement stuff that's coming down the pipe, and there's a lot of changes happening and a lot more reporting that we have to do. Whether we're a 2-person municipality office or a 20-person municipality office, we're all having to do the same obligation. But that's all we're trying to.
I know that, I know the legislation stuff, but, so you're saying, well, I can't get back to the boat launch guys because I've got all this other stuff to do, and so I'm hoping I can do it here. Is there something that we can help you with that non-legislative stuff so that we can move that forward?
Almost project management to some degree.
There's a point I'm treading very careful because of the legislative requirements and what our roles are.
Yep.
So I'm doing what I can to create the balance. You've already taken one off my hands, so that's great. We want to move forward with that event sign. We did our first part, didn't work.
So is
Moving
there
forward on
something
that.
we could do with Jack's Pond that would take off a portion of that workload from you?
Another
You'd
project
still have to
manager.
You'd still have to draft out the RFP, but I guess, based on past history, you guys are good at the RFPs and all that, but the project management stuff.
You don't have time
you
for
don't have time
That's right.
or expertise in.
that too.
So some of that project management, we have lots of expertise in the village.
So if someone wants to be a project manager,
We're fine with that.
But again, and maybe that is the answer, to take some off of your plate, to say, okay, what is this, what's the basic requirement? A project manager.
Yes, but I want to make sure that whatever we come up with, at least the qualifications in the RFP of what you're looking for. And then we can start working on the development permits, because we need to make sure the permitting is done. And unfortunately, sometimes the permitting was never done for some reason.
Absolutely, like nothing, we're not talking a project manager that takes it from A to Z. We're talking about a project manager that gets the information to you, and then you review it and make sure that all those i's and t's are dotted and crossed.
For example, there's the location of the building. That shouldn't be up to you. That should be up to the community or some input or the counselors or whatever. So if you have that project manager that can go out there and take a look and step around and say, no, it shouldn't be in here because of this, this, and this, maybe we should put it here. That's above and beyond what's
And
legislative.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm only going out for the RFP to.
Part of the RFP is going to be that, because you may need to put some words for it in the RFP,
Mhm.
depending on the location.
You guys are gonna have to, based on the RFP, decide what the location you want to do. Or how do you wanna proceed with getting the location prior to the closing of the
And
RFP?
that might be where the official project manager it comes in. He or she doesn't do it from start to finish, but they can provide some direction. And I think that's what we're missing here, is.
We're throwing everything on your plate when that's not the intent, because we know that you're not an engineer, we know that you're not a site developer, we know that you're not a construction developer, we know that your job is to deal with the legislative and administrative side of it.
And that part is the administration.
But the project management is not necessarily.
It still falls under administration.
Well,
It has to come to you,
Mhm.
it has to come, you can put it together for council. But some of the pre-work maybe possibly could be done by someone else.
by a recreation committee, by the Hall Society, by an individual that has skills in that area.
And I'm fine with that, guys.
And that's what we're looking for, is we're looking for that balance yes, we know that the administration needs to cross the T's and dot the I's and all of that. And council needs to approve budgets, but there is that middle step, and I think we found it with the sign. That's what we're looking for, is who can help us with that.
We need another person. Or the same
Or it's not, we have the expertise and the willingness in some of the community, you can do
No,
something.
she meant another community person.
Oh, sorry.
That's-
Yes, yeah, not another men, but another community.
Yes, that's what I
And
mean.
then, because this is what's getting me so confused, is we forwarded the stuff that was applied for a grant, and that's all we kind of got. Where is the site? Was the site already picked when they did that?
That's what, we don't know.
Okay.
That's,
That's why we need to find somebody that's gonna, we need a champion to do this. I don't know if project manager is the right
No,
word, but
it's not.
a champion to do it.
would council be willing to go review the area of Jack's Pond and pick a site?
Well, maybe that's something that the recreation committee could have.
Perfect. And
I think it should be.
I think it should be.
That's a recreation committee decision.
so that's where, like I said, now we're formulating the recreation committee. We're gonna try to get them to do get a meeting going. This will be one of their topics.
First.
Yeah, first
Which
one.
then helps me, but it also slows down my process of where do I go, and I can't do anything now until I have that info for the RFP.
So you can draft the RFP except for the, scope of work that's in the appendix.
Yeah.
So you do all the rest of it.
Perfect.
The scope of work will be partly responsible is for the recreation committee. Partly, not all of it, because there's still some, building design, but the recreation committee should determine the location to some degree. Based on some of the underground and all of that. They then should determine, should it have a earth floor or a concrete pad? They should determine the basic size. That is all in the appendix under scope of work. But all the other stuff, the insurance requirement, the WCB, all of that preliminary stuff should be done by administration, right?
Yeah, no, I'm good with this. So that's.
So
clear.
in the scope of work, we have some parameters from the previous Ball Society work that was done. They got a basic structure type, correct?
Yep.
They got what we wanted, I don't know, 24 by 30, blah, 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 with posts and sides and a stove in the middle and a concrete floor. That is part of the scope of work. They then can feed it to administration. Administration can make sure it's meets the codes and all of that. That's part of your job.
Yeah.
But they can then at least give you the basic parameters so that we have that. Is that
So it's fair. What I'm saying is we're gonna get the draft going right away here. We're going to get it at the next meeting for forwarding to the committee to finalize and then get it out.
think the committee, did we set a date for the committee to meet yet?
Not yet.
We have to do the letter to see what their availability is to get going.
Well, I think, yeah, we don't want the committee, the recreation committee to delay it, we want it to speed it up.
Why would you not provide a draft to the recreation committee, have them, then you don't have to wait till the next council meeting. And then they take it, they run with it, and then get it back to you, so that maybe it gets provided to you.
I'm good with that. Put it in a motion to draft RFP, get it over to the new appointed recreation committee members as this is their first agenda item to.
You can have questions in there.
Yeah.
What's the location?
Yeah.
What's the size? Does it need this kind of base? Does it need a windproof shelter? Does it need lights? Does it need a stove? You could still have questions in the draft.
Yeah.
The draft isn't, here, approve this or don't approve it. The draft should be, here's some questions that we have.
That we need answers.
Because then the committee can go, oh, question number 2, what do you think? And they can discuss it, and then they can give you an answer and say all the way through. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I think one of the concerns I've got is I don't really want to overload the committee, saying, here's the first task and we need it done by tomorrow.
There will be some.
No.
And I'm just a little bit concerned that we're
Rushing it.
rushing it. I don't want to, it be done and say we made a mistake because we pushed it too fast. I guess I'm pushing back on that a little bit because I'm sensing this urgency. And I don't want to needlessly waste time, but I don't want us to be making decisions faster than.
We haven't set a timeline. We haven't said, oh, we've got to have this by the August meeting or whatever. But we're saying, look, rec committee, go and look at this. Take some of the work off of administration and whatever happens with that timeline happens with that timeline, right?
I totally agree with that concept. So we just want to.
Are you seeking feedback from a committee?
Yes.
Like,
We're gonna give it
I'm all
with
for
it.
running with the committee, but I don't want to. I don't want to feel like, we need to make a decision right now before we.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Well, because there is only really two concepts. There, one is roof consent and the other one is what the Hall Society presented. Maybe there's a third, I don't know.
But they can
But at least
go
the
do that.
committee can met that and give Melissa more clarity as to when she actually puts that RFP out and take exactly what the parameters are.
And that's all I'm asking. I'm not delaying anything. It's just, there's a lot that we're trying to get done. We've just got through these RFPs. Now we're working on the next step.
In my mind, just, when we talk about these two projects, my mind, the boat launch is far more time concerned than that, particularly if you want to be looking at winter construction or taking advantage of low lake levels and things like that. To make sure that that project keeps moving forward is more important in my mind.
And most of
Which
that
is
will.
why I want to get some of that other stuff off of her plate
Yeah.
so that you can, like, I fully expected to have that boat launch report in our July meeting.
I was hoping for it, but this is
Then how do
also
you do-
construction season. This is the season that all engineers are fairly busy on a lot of different fronts.
And they're
working on this.
redoing a survey, weren't they too?
They had to redo the survey again because now they can take a look at the other low navigable waters. We're okay in the Water Act. We have our approval, which is extended. The construction will end up being in winter if you do anything. Which is what Roshan did too.
Well, and that's what I mean, like, we may want to ensure that we get
Well,
it in
this
the
time,
winter.
We don't want,
Because for this type of work, like Roshan has found, there's a time to do it, so if we're, in February, we haven't made decisions, then we.
Yeah. And since the prior construction repairs that we did do, we already have our Water Act approval,
Yes, which Christine did say that we did have.
which makes it way easier. So all we need is
So again, on that boat launch, when I look at that boat launch, we're not getting to an RFP, we're simply getting a report back. We still don't have a design or anything else.
That's what the report's gonna tell you, so
we'll tell you your next step. So
Yeah.
your
what
decision.
kind of design would work maybe
but
better.
can you, not fast track, that's not the right word. Can you, express a sense of urgency that
Yeah.
council would like to see a final report prior to our August meeting?
Yep.
Because, I mean, even if we have to have a special meeting or we have to approve something,
We can call a special council meeting.
we don't wanna see that delayed any further. And we need to have them prioritize it a bit more.
Yep.
That is, I agree, that's one. And then as far as this Jack's Pond structure, do we need any kind of a motion or where do we have with that? Do you have, I think we have a sense of direction?
I would like to just have a motion that administration draft up all the details prior to an RFP going out and refer any questions to the Recreation Committee for final adjustments. Feedback. Does that make sense?
Direction, yeah.
That's still putting the onus on you to basically get an RFP ready.
It's still gonna have to happen anyway.
Well, I know, but. Okay.
But the scope of work
Is the
still-
biggest part.
The rest of it is,
The thing,
insurance requirements, WCB requirements, the preamble requirements and the dates and the times.
but like the
This
scope
is-
of work could be done by the Parks and Rec. Under that RFP.
Yeah, what I would suggest is just in the initial document that's going out to the Parks and Recreation Committee, that it just basically includes whatever concepts and ideas have come up for them. And
Let's not
say,
redo it.
please, we suggest for the Parks and Recreation that one of their top items is to move this forward to a, firm conceptual plan of what we want.
Exactly.
And whatever we got right now from
So
the.
we're not giving an RFP or anything.
No, but, this is
It's an RFP.
this is the idea, this is what the hall committee has come up with. This is maybe what went wrong in Roshan Sands to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Go up there, walk around, determine what the best ideas are and bring that forward that can be incorporated into the RFP as a more firm conceptual.
The scope of work.
Yes.
So you're not, take the word RFP to the side for
Yeah.
now and just say, we would like the recreation committee
To review the scope of
the
work.
scope of work. This is what we have so far. This is the questions that we have on the scope of work. And that would
provide
include
feedback.
location and size and base and roofing structure and, all of that.
Yeah.
And so that would then give them something to feed on, and then you can meanwhile work in the background on some of the, like RFP is kind of boilerplate to some degree. You have some of that basic, you must have this and you must have that.
ChatGPT helps a lot.
That's
We're gonna do, it's basically all the information we
But
can
that-
gather.
Your.
So we're,
Information is what you want, feedback.
We want the.
That's the clarity that.
Okay, yeah. How's the motion sound like?
like, not very well, right? But I said move by for the or for council to provide, how do you want to word that? Provide the recreation committee to review the scope of work and bring back to administration to
We want the administration to provide a scope of work framework, to present to the rec committee for
Feedback.
feedback.
I meant to
And now,
provide it.
so you will have questions on all of that.
Everything that I'm going to need to be able to do up and.
Correct.
I meant to provide a scope of work for the cook shack at Jack's Pond to the rec committee and the rec committee
You're
review.
not providing the scope of work, they're providing the scope of work.
Oh, I'm getting this over.
No, we're going to draft up the
Okay.
framework.
Framework and questions or something like that.
For the rec committee, then to
To a rec.
recommend its scope of work.
Okay.
We good with that. So, sorry, you were in the middle of your report. Where?
That's okay, we'll continue going on. The TMF grant that was applied for to help has been submitted. It says the review process could take up to 6 months, so that's where it's at for the drainage part. Yeah. So
So that's being delayed until that.
the gauge on the MR between 3 and 4 was installed, so that's all done. And now we're gonna move forward with working on the transfer site. New regulation changes, Privacy Protection Act, we have to now do some more reporting. So working on reviewing all that. Completed the wage and compensation summary, that is finally in. So I got that off my plate. Yeah, Butler Public Library seems to now be moving into full swing and we're seeing attendance, so that's great. How many kids showed up?
He showed up, there's a few. First week there were 0, they left early, which I wouldn't have expected to wait all day, so.
Last week it was a
There's a
big.
few, yeah.
The weather was better. People
Yes.
came out.
Yeah, and then just so you guys know, kind of after today, I'm going on holidays. I have a meeting scheduled in between, so I'll accomplish that. And then,
I'll go on holidays.
and she goes on holidays on the Monday, so.
For a week.
What there's coverage.
Yeah, so just so you know, probably this Friday will be posted.
No, not probably, is,
Is, nobody will be here.
because it's my scheduled Friday off and, yeah. Okay.
And then insurance management, we had a meeting with them on June 24th.
This was the playground.
Well, this has to do with the playgrounds and even our buildings and kind of how the insurance works and what we should really be insuring. Key discussion items was we we were reviewing the insured contents, replacement values to better reflect actual replacement costs and ensure appropriate coverage, because we found out that our deductible is 5,000 and our content insured 5,100 doesn't quite make sense. So we're re-reviewing that during the renewal process to make sure the content is the right thing, because contents are not cheap anymore for replacement value, and I don't think we are accurately reflecting that. So also our asset inventories, we gotta really take a look at all that, because again, the content stuff just doesn't seem to relate enough. Considering whether the playground equipment may be better funded through reserves, was what they brought forward to us, is because if there's an incident, say there's a fire, playground equipment gets burned, they actually don't cover it. So we have an insured.
We don't cover playgrounds apparently, or their equipment.
Yeah, replacement of playground equipment is not isn't covered by the insurance.
Okay.
Liability issues would be covered under the insurance. But that's because it's our property. So I'm reviewing that because we actually are paying for them to be covered, but replacement would never happen, and so we wanna look at.
Why are we insuring it?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Or how do you insure it so it actually would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just accept that it's not insured.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, if it's too, yeah.
because insurance will not cover replacement costs, so that was a big eye opener.
Okay.
Preliminary review of the playground equipment was completed. A comprehensive inspection is going to be done by the risk advisor because she's qualified to do it. And once we get that, we'll have a discussion with you guys, because there seems to be issues just from the preliminary. The one at Jack's Pond,
So not this one, but the other one.
the other one, yes. Improving asset inventories and maintenance documentation to support future insurance renewals and strengthen municipal risk management. So we're working with them. So Roshan and ourselves both met with the risk advisor.
And Jay, and now you'll need to put on the environmental impaired liability for the.
Mhm.
for the other.
Yeah, and that's already in the process, so we have it ready, we just.
So that was the, okay, that.
Yeah, and other than that, we're continuing everyday operational stuff and all the other stuff we've discussed.
Uh,
Anything else?
Questions on it? I think the update on the Wi-Fi, oh, that's the thermostat.
So now we need to do that still.
So that needs to be, okay,
The door locks were done.
Yep.
So that's all completed.
Kind of nice, just push a number and not find a key.
Exactly. We had our first.
And all the other keys have been changed, like there's.
Yeah.
We have 2 keys for the hall now only.
Is that just a question for you?
Yeah.
On that door lock,
Mhm.
it looks like it's electronic only. Is there battery backup in that lock?
It's, so if you look, when you go into the hall,
Yeah, it's
there's
plugged in,
plugged in.
right?
So
So that's like, that's.
I would have to ask Larry and David
Okay,
to double
can you
check.
Please find out if there's a battery backup in that.
Yep.
and if there's no key access whatsoever.
Well, you can still,
Over.
I think you can still use a key for that door.
And
but-
we have that key.
Yes,
Yes.
And nobody else has that key.
Correct.
correct.
Okay, so we have that emergency key.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I think if that would happen, that'd be the door thing, the key.
That's why.
But I will check, yeah. And,
It's working, we feel it's working better because everybody has their codes now. And so
Okay.
we'll manage it as best we can.
And all of the beach
Yeah.
access.
Right, that was just a concern by a user group
Mhm.
that if power goes out, their code isn't gonna work.
Uh,
And if it's a nighttime event, then.
Yeah,
Right,
like-
so that's why.
like
I
on
was wondering
Saturday.
about the battery backup.
We will double check,
Okay.
I would assume they have some kind of battery backup, but we'll double check. that.
Yeah, that would be great. if you could. And you can let us know by email.
Tables were given away. we're
we got there.
We haven't got there yet either.
It's pending.
I got a note saying that the shed was not locked. I don't know if we didn't lock it the last time, but I just got a note.
Oh,
So we might want to check on that on a more regular basis.
okay,
Okay,
Okay, anything else in, all you have any comments on the reports or?
questioning, any updates on the drainage study funding, what you call the risk assessment?
Is
Risk
that,
assessment
I think that's the
division?
one we're waiting on. I think it takes
That's
6
the
months.
one that we submitted it on. And 12th got the response that, thank you, we've received your application. And the estimated process of the application for funding decision takes approximately up to 6 months.
Oh, well, okay.
So we won't be starting anything until we,
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else, Leon?
Some clarity on, 260626. This is, janitorial services contract. So it's $190 a month.
Mhm.
They done their first clean.
Yeah.
How often do they come out?
Once a month, once a month.
Once a month.
And it's, so far we're scheduled for no, it's Sunday.
yes.
Yeah, and then she's gonna come out about the same time the next month, and she's gonna come in the morning, because we have a rental that afternoon.
And they've asked.
They asked, and she said she could,
To the mornings and we do what we can do.
Okay, so in between
Mhm.
her cleans, who inspects it Sunday night prior to?
So we had a rental, we had a rental on Saturday.
Okay,
So I was here early this morning for personal reasons, but so I went into the hall like at 8 o'clock this morning and checked it. And the only thing I found was just some garbage, a little bit of garbage like tissue and stuff in the garbages, nothing that really need to say is screamed, replace it. And then I was checking, because this was their backup, like for a wedding. So I don't know if they actually did use it or not. I know they used the parking area. I kind of snooped in my camera and see vehicles leaving later that night, but I don't know if they actually used the hall, but everything was clean. And so I checked everything off. You can see on Dan has a check there for the refund.
So does,
So I went there for it.
if it's not clean, Monday morning, what happens?
Then
Before the user comes in,
Then we would have to clean it.
who is we?
Well, I'll be me or Alan.
Yeah.
at this
Your
time.
Alan would have to clean the
Yeah.
hall if it's not, and then
Yeah.
you would then deal with.
We would deduct it from their
Yeah.
deposit.
That's
Not the
plan.
user group.
So it's not up to the next user group to do with anything.
No,
If they show up.
if they show up as dirty, we need to let know. We will try. Like I just happened to be here at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. that's-
Alan doesn't come to 8:30,
So
right?
what happens if the user group shows up at 9, with
Mhm.
all their people and it's dirty? What do they do?
Okay, I think we're getting a bit, we are doing the inspections on just those rentals
yeah,
and the library.
Okay?
That's it. All the other user group stuff
It's
is,
self-policing
Yeah.
in a way.
yes.
Okay, I agree, but the rental, so
So the rental,
you showed up early this time.
Yeah.
If we have another rental,
Mhm.
who's doing the inspection prior to the user group showing?
Probably next door, behind me.
Yeah, it's us for maintenance.
Yeah.
We'll inspect it at 8 o'clock?
8:30.
Yeah,
on Monday morning.
Yeah.
That's arranged.
we will have it arranged because we know our rentals.
Yes.
Okay? So, yeah, that's fine,
Yeah.
I want to make sure the user group doesn't show up and then say, oh my God, what a mess.
No.
So
We're trying to make sure we're in there prior
this
and we've
week,
been inspected.
take out Saturday rental. This week, all there was user groups in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Monday, saying there was no rental on the weekend.
Yeah.
Nobody's going in to look at it Monday morning.
Great.
So Friday's user group was supposed to be responsible, and then if we start to find that's a problem, then we put it back on the user group.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
The user groups get it for free, they're responsible for ensuring it's turned over.
Yeah.
The next user group.
It's as clean as, it should be clean.
Yep.
To,
But the
Be ready
event
for that.
is, the administration will inspect it Monday morning early enough that they can take corrective action prior to the 10 o'clock Monday morning.
no, I think it's 9:30.
9:30.
Prior to the 9:30 user group.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that.
And then we will be deducting any.
And if there's a problem, I think the Hall Society have agreed that they would come late Sunday if need be, as a backup.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
will, anticipate that being a problem.
This was our first real rental,
Yes.
so this was our first kick at the can,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and don't forget that if you find that, okay, Monday morning is not adequate, especially if we have to clean, if you need someone to do it Sunday night, the whole society is still perfectly willing to go and look and do your checklist.
Mhm.
They review your checklist, they don't do it.
Yeah.
They're perfectly willing.
Because
to
there's
do that.
several copies, because I have a green duotang in there, so it has mine and Melissa's cards here. I have Melissa's for in case of emergency, so if something bursts or on fire, whatever at the hall, has her work cell phone. And then I have the policy in there. I have just copies of agreements for the user agreement, the rental agreement for people to look at, like this is what you agreed to, not the actual ones they signed. And then copies of like checklists. Like even the user groups can fill them out and just leave it in there and I will go through it. No one has used it yet. I even checked to see if this group used it like our rental used it
Yeah,
and no one.
I didn't realize, where's the green new thing?
Kitchen area. So it's either on the backside or over under the first aid is the word I'm looking for.
yeah,
Oh,
right
okay,
near that.
Yeah.
okay, because I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Change was
So
there.
it's there. And what else did I put in there? If the deposit thingy, the sheet that we put in the policy. So if it's not clean, this is the possible deductions kind of thing.
Okay,
And there's, oh, and user for like the pin pad and like have the dog the door, like if you're having. Have the poker people, if they're coming in, they can dog the door so they don't all have to put in the pin, because once the door's closed, you have to put a pin in if you're coming from the
you
outside.
can lock that.
Yeah, you can lock the panic
That's
bar.
what we do.
Yeah, yeah, and then, yeah, like there's a storage key, it's over here for to get into the storage, yeah.
so our
Anyways,
inspection should include that.
I should have checked that one, I did, yeah.
That's one.
Little tweak.
For improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cleaner, did, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I sure noticed that when the cleaner came in, baseboards were.
Even
clean.
there, the baseboards are cleaned and stuff.
Both buildings, so that's what
Yeah.
we're looking for.
okay, is this council, no, that's a new item now, with subdivision. So is that your full report?
This is just to get you guys aware of the whole.
Is that a new item, or is that part of your report?
As part of my report.
Okay, sorry, go ahead then.
So, you guys had asked for a council information report on the Buffalo Lake Ranch Estate Stage 3 to 5. So I've given you the whole file status and process summary so that you'll be aware of how and where.
So basic conclusion is at this point, we're waiting for submission of the future subdivision application. So we sent them back and said, let us know what you want to do.
Because they provided us a conception
Yeah,
and asked what we thought. So we provided
feedback.
feedback and said, submit in your subdivision application.
And that was in May of 2020.
Okay, we've asked for that. Okay, where are we at next?
So you're gonna move those two reports and prove as presented?
Yep.
Who wants to put their name on it? Okay,
All in favor? Yeah. Okay. For that, now we're into financial.
Yeah.
So financials, any feedback? We're on track,
we're on track.
kind of, but, taxes are all.
Just coming in, yeah.
They're coming in and, yeah, we've had some minor assessment adjustments, I think one or two.
One for sure, there's supposed to be another one coming, but we haven't
Yeah.
got anything from the assessor yet.
But those are things we can't plan for.
No, those are normal activities, yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, everything's,
On track.
And you get to see, because now that we have approved the capital budget and I finally was able to lock down my financial helper to kind of, because I'm not very good at putting the numbers, making the numbers. Anyways, but now you have like your statement for capital revenue and expenditures all updated properly.
yeah, so the dust control was completed, so we've got that done. And the boat launch, you can see that the process is moving ahead. So. And we're working on the rest of the stuff.
Any feedback or comments, concerns?
And then I had my financial report because I am not done reconciling June because it's not
July.
being, or no, June,
June, yeah.
because it's not being very nice right now, but you're out of a deficit, I can tell you that.
And,
All the time.
I got a bunch of tax stuff in, yes.
and,
And-
serves are all in check.
So that's what we updated to after the last one, so now we have elections at 10,000. So we might want to bring back that policy later around budget time, just to say, we want to put a cap, $200,000 for the general and a cap for elections as 10,000. So I don't have, if something was to go over like that, well, you don't need, like before we had 23,000, we don't need that for elections, so maybe you want to put a cap. So you might want to think about tweaking that.
Yeah, a couple of policies we're looking at.
Cause I went as per policy, but I still had to tweak it and not fully follow the policy, because then I was supposed to put money back in elections. But I had to kind of tweak, and put extra money in other places.
We'll take the.
Divided it.
We already did that.
You did, but you said to follow as per policy? You said, yeah, anyways, well,
The rest of the policy.
yeah, so anyway, so we had to put
With that exception.
put money in different places. Yeah.
The top, the rest of the.
Yeah, so.
Direction,
Yeah, accordingly.
we'll take the policy.
And then our GIC, it matured a couple grand. So we put it back in at just only 300,000
Okay.
for 120 days at a 2.2% interest rate. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, you just don't have the bank rec, but I'm just struggling.
That's a summary of where we're going at.
Okay, any questions on that? No?
I can make the motion to accept it.
Thank you.
All in favor? Thank you. And correspondence. So we had a similar question asked at the information meeting. And
The first one?
the one we had in June.
Mhm.
And I think we answered it sufficiently in that the fee structure was going back, we're moving back to where it was prior to COVID.
Okay.
And that seemed to satisfy them, in that it was reduced during COVID, and we're, rather than bumping it immediately back up to the pre-COVID, we're gently moving it back up to pre-COVID.
And that seems to be okay.
And that seems to satisfy that person. Maybe we need because this was written, we should, respond accordingly.
So I would say you should motion to accept it as information, or motion to have administration provide a letter.
A response letter. I think they're on a response letter. I don't know if there's any further discussion.
There is.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
this idea to realign the annual application timing.
Yeah.
June 30th seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Is there any thoughts on your end?
So your RV thing is a calendar year, so from January to December.
Right.
So I'm not billing them in January, which I should be. So I billed them in the last couple of years, 2 to 3 years. It's been in April. I was late April this year by the time I got to it. And then they just have a 30-day term to get it there. So I only send invoices in that April term when there's RVs, because we have RV inspections. We usually try to do one sometime in the winter, another one in the spring, just prior to when I go out. I can see a trend of trailers that are out there, and they get their invoice. So if you don't have a trailer on it, and then when we get into May long, it's weekly after that, when I see a trailer come on and you haven't done your permit, because some people are good and proactive and will skim me their application and do their stuff. There's others that are not, so I'm sending them an invoice. And then as per your fees and service bylaw, you have a 30-day term for a 2% penalty when it's not paid within the 30-day term. And this is the second year doing that.
So the reason you guys kind of did it in the annual, January to January, is because some lots can have a trailer on for storage. Some, they all have that right, as they can want to do that. They can leave it there all year round.
But that's pay the $300 fee.
It's
if it's a vacant lot.
$300 fee. So now, if you don't, I guess it's up to council in your bylaw, how you want to review this. But it keeps it in sync for us doing January to December,
Our property taxes January to December.
correct?
Yeah.
So we,
They're collected by the end of July.
well, we send the invoices out usually around.
Property taxes or,
Got them in May, right?
yeah, yeah, you get,
Yeah,
yeah, that's just, I don't know. County of Stellars was October 1st is their deadline. And
Yeah.
that's because historically farming.
but the RV permit.
But-
We usually, after we get into just the warmer weather, we start sending out the invoice.
Yeah, April, because
So
I've
we
had
can
2 or
change it
3
to
things.
January, if you wish.
Well, then this letter is saying for this person, he thinks it would be, make more sense to align it to June 30th, which I think he's saying it's when they're out here and, you know, coming into the office.
I think I sent out 6, how many invoices, 60?
Yeah.
50 to 60 invoices in April. There's that many trailers on the on properties.
So it's not 300, it's
Yeah.
450 or 600.
Next year, yeah.
Right.
So right now it's 300, so that's why I'm just using that right now.
It's just the more, like, we don't have her coming and doing it other than in the new year. We do it then and then early spring, and that's why we do send out the invoices early spring. But again, if somebody wants to park on there, which we've had this discussion with somebody, and I did an initiative of my own. They did have their trailer up there. They've removed it due to whatever.
They're selling that one.
Yeah,
They sold. But it was parked. I had one in the winter and I had one in the spring. And then he sold it and he was asking, because it's supposed to be $300. So we did the initiative, we took $300 and divided by 12 months and said, okay, well, you prorated it. So you have to pay this much, and he paid it. He was fine with that.
yeah. But those are all things that I want to review with you guys, because I think there has to be some discussion and decisions, because do you want to treat it like
Or do they
a
transfer?
rental, or like, well, depending on how many times they come and use it, because this is what the question we get thrown. Well, we're only out there.
And then can be
twice.
transferred. Say if they sold it, the trailer is there.
But then there are some that may not have their trailer there, and they still only come out twice, and then wondering, why do I have to pay? So I guess those are all.
Can they get a weekly permit?
You still have, it's according to your land use bylaw, once a trailer for a vacant lot, once a trailer comes on the lot, they have to pay that $30 fee and do the application.
$300.
Yeah, right now for this year, next, the fee, we'll call it the fee.
Yeah, the $300.
So I think it's a discussion that we will bring some of the things that we run into this year. And then
With the land use bylaw review, hopefully in the
Yeah.
fall or going forward.
So we're talking about accepting.
Because another question would be, let's say Joe bought his permit and then decided that
he sells
he
his
sells
property,
it. Is it transferable, that permit, or does the new owner have to buy another one?
we're running into that too.
So there's a permit attached to the owner of the property.
Or does it go with the property?
Or is it attached to the trailer?
or
That too, sorry.
We're running into the little things that we're like, okay.
I got a good few questions for we've been here 5 years-ish, or 4 years-ish, I don't know.
Alright, so
Anyways, but we're getting a lot of questions this year.
we have
reviewing.
We've directed that we're reviewing the policies around this, and this is, this idea of taking the timing of that is among.
But at this point in time.
At this point in time, just let them know that we're returning to the pre-COVID rate on
On the
fee structure and a graduated method on it. We will be looking at the funding and other concerns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who wants to move that or motion that? Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, the next letter from Municipal Affairs.
Yeah,
To consider our grants.
Yep.
And we got more than we expected in the building funds, build community strong fund kicked in.
CCBF? No. No, it's normal.
That's normal.
Yeah.
These are all normal?
Yeah, this is all kind of what we had projected to you guys in the budget.
And, obviously some of them are for capital and some of them are for operating,
Correct.
but there's no, stipulations on the use or the timing of the use of these funds.
Well, the operating is yearly, but the new operation is yearly. So we have to put in an application and say, this is what we spent that money on.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the building, community, strong fund community, we've already got a couple of projects that you've allocated to it, which will bring us back into alliance with this.
Okay.
So we're not doing any large carry throughs like we did in the past.
No.
No, we're cleaning that up.
We're cleaning that.
Yeah.
So we're comfortable with that. We don't have anything outstanding. We're fully, for the most part, fully using our grants.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we need to know about that one? Any other questions? Okay, receive as correspondence, motion.
For the rest of them or whatever, you can just go through it and then see if it's information, yeah.
Okay, the next one was, I didn't fully understand this. What are they trying to change? Oh,
Built
So it's just all the different apps.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
does anything really affect us a whole lot?
Actually, yes.
Yes, cause
So in my written report, I think I had summarized it, so give me a minute to take a look at this.
Mostly all to do with administration reporting.
Yes.
Yes, but yeah, okay, yeah, exactly.
And publishing on their the website, employee compensation, but that's only if they exceed $130,000.
150,
Says 130. So you're okay there. Again, it's just a reporting.
it's basically, we're gonna be doing a lot of bylaw reviews because what's happening is now they put it into the MGA. The roles and the clarity and stuff, so now we have to look at code of conduct and all that stuff because it's all being taken care of in here.
But you've already done the PPA one, right?
Working on it.
Yeah.
There's another portion of it that just came through, so. Yeah. It's basically all the stuff we were supposed to be doing and now it's being put into written documentation.
Good. So no big surprises.
Not really.
Okay, then the next one was ASBA.
Yeah, yeah, their update.
And they had asked for some changes with, municipal indicators 11 and 12.
Well, that's on that website.
Oh,
So they're-
is there anything there that we need to? Oh, didn't we ask Dan to submit a
So I think that
resolution?
goes I think that goes to the ASPA conference, is it? It went.
They took it up to the committee and it won't go to council.
Okay, so that, because they're just saying, they're now being accepted. Resolutions.
Yeah.
Good,
The donation, I gotta do it, so I'll
yeah,
find something here soon.
you're tagged with that.
And we got all the registrations done.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's all good.
You pre-booked or
Yeah,
pretend to
you're-
pre-booked?
Your hotels are booked and your tickets are booked.
Good, that's worthwhile. Okay, and then we move into the National Police. This is quite comprehensive.
Information.
And good information, pretty overwhelmingly pro RCMP and what are we doing, changing. It seems to me that they're saying, you know, why is the provincial government focusing on a provincial when we should be? Albertans are happy with the way it is. Is that kind of a decent summary? That's what I read into it anyway. It's just, yeah. Anything, any questions on that? Any surprises?
This is coming from the National Police Federation, so of course it's gonna have that bent.
Yes, we could. Yeah, we should.
Doesn't this remind you of the bias in all the aspects of it?
Yeah, that was a lot of.
I know you,
information.
Dan, you had mentioned this is good. We should talk about this. So we had it in the agenda already, but
Yeah.
this is your time.
Well, I just wanted to say this kind of supports what we do to some degree. But it supports us in a survey way, at least, you know, I can't talk about the validity of the survey. It seems to be quite valid, but it supports what we were suggesting.
So I'm not sure if it's in the package, but it was in the email that there was a letter that.
At the very end of all the slideshow stuff.
It's in here?
Call to action to the government of Alberta letter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would the action be that we
But you,
authorize us to sign it, like, voice sense, sign off?
Well, that's up to you.
that's gonna be up to you guys because you've already did a resolution that you want to take to ASBA to get all of your summer villages to support for the same type of aspect. What do you?
Yeah, so this would just further support. Is it
Yeah.
not?
Yeah,
That's
because if
fine.
it doesn't go through ASVA, then at least you can put your name and say,
Yeah.
hey, that we support this.
So reading that letter, is there anything that we feel that, shouldn't be in there? Talked about increasing, it's talked about the sheriff maintaining and continuing what they're already doing. And I don't know about bail reform challenges and repeat violent offending, I don't know much
So
about
the
that.
call to action is on page 178, all the points.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do we have a problem with any of those? Because they lumped more stuff into it, I noticed, than was talked about above.
You said bail reform, where does?
Strengthen the justice system by addressing the bail reform.
But that isn't provincial, that's federal.
That's why I found it interesting that they threw that in.
Because this is a federal.
No, they're saying this is to the provincial.
Provincial government.
Calling government to.
So it's a big
But I guess-
convoluted.
Yeah, but I guess too, we feel that bail reform stuff here in this province is more everywhere. Yeah, I don't know.
I hear what everybody says, but again, it is the federal government that looks up, that deals with this part, and that's where the crown prosecutors and stuff like that all come from the provincial or the federal appointments.
Well, I guess I mean, that's motherhood and apple pie, but it's a good thing to support. I don't think it stops us from signing the letter or from responding to the call for action.
So you want to do a support letter of this?
Think I would, because it supports what we said earlier.
Yeah, but we want to be our thinking on prevention.
Essentially, we take this letter and we send it.
On our
on
cup.
behalf of- From Village of White Sands to the government of Alberta.
Yeah.
Put it on our letterhead and send it off.
I would support that. I'll make that motion.
Okay,
All in favor? Okay, and the last one was referendum October 19th.
We have a polling station on this.
Yes,
no, they're not anymore. They canceled that. They moved it to somewhere else. Cause
it's because of the space, they have to have certain space requirements.
So it's no longer here or Roshan?
no, I don't know about Roshan. I know
Might
they
be-
canceled ours
This one.
here. Yeah, this one here. So they were moving it somewhere else.
But there
Because
have-
of the hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, there have to be certain requirements now, so it'll get interesting.
Okay, what do we need to do with this one? This is just for your information.
It's to send out to say, hey, if you want to work at this, you can work at this.
That's right.
So you can post it on the website if
Yeah.
anybody wants to apply.
They can do, yeah, exactly.
Good. Any, motion to accept the information package of information?
Yep.
I'll make that motion. All in favor? Are we looking at adjournment? There's nothing new. I don't
Nothing
think.
new. You can adjourn at 12:55.
Adjourn at 12:55.